Yes, sir. Friday Night Footy is on. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are ready because it is about to be a big old day of rugby league. We've got the New Zealand Warriors playing host to the West Tigers. Obviously, Tigers have a little bit of rejuvenation, a little bit of a, skipping their step at the moment. They're feeling positive going forward, even though they're coming off the back of a loss against the South Sydney Rabbitohs last week. But they are feeling a little bit positive going forward after their big win against the Cowboys in week 2. And it just seems like times are slowly adjusting, but they are still in the development stage of this club getting out of the years that we have seen in recent years. And then you've got the Warriors, who currently haven't lost a damn well game, so they are flying, mate. They are absolutely flying at the moment. They are 3-0 after big wins against the Sydney Roosters, the Canberra Raiders, and the Newcastle Knights. They have whooped all three of them. It's not been close. No. What are you talking about? Close game with the Wars? No way. They're the most consistent team of all time. Not usually where we would use with the Wars, but this year, they've been very consistent. They've been getting 42 points, 40 points, and 38 points, which was their biggest negative in 2025. They have rectified their biggest issue, which was their attack. And when I do my updated ladder predictions after round 7, I definitely will be adjusting them well higher than what I had them in, because I had my criticism of them, and I did have my questions of them, and they were valid based off of last year. The attack was not there, but ever since Tanner Boyd's come into the halfback, and they've found a lot more of their attack, and now Luke Metcalf will come back in for this game. He goes into the 6. It's exciting times in New Zealand. It really is. It is exciting times for this Warriors team that they've rectified that issue. Hopefully Metcalf coming in doesn't really adjust that, but it should benefit that because of how good Metcalf is as a player. And hopefully they just keep on powering forward. And this is a very winnable game for them. And honestly, they should be winning this game here against the West Tigers, who also are without Jerome Luai here today. There just is a lot of positives going forward for the Wars because they haven't regressed on their defense. Their defense is still very, very solid, and they've progressed on their attack very, very significantly, which just gives you a real big sense of confidence that maybe this year the Warriors will go and do something. But there is always that, there's something in the air of caution. You've got to be cautious with this Warriors team because of history, not because of what you're seeing now, but because what we know from the New Zealand Warriors as a franchise throughout the history of the club. They do show some good signs, and they promise a lot, and they do get it going, and can fall apart. We saw that last year. In the first half of the year, they were top 4, and they obviously dwindled down and ultimately kind of just scraped into getting into the finals, ultimately, where they got beaten by, I think it was the Panthers in week 1, by quite a big margin. It was just a really disappointing year in the second half last year, but the first half was incredible, and that's what the Warriors can do. But I have a lot more faith in them this year. I do. I have a lot more faith, and I think that they are going to be a really strong team because the thing that they needed to improve, they have improved, in my opinion. But in regards to this weekend, obviously later on tonight, we do have the Brisbane Broncos versus the Redcliffe Dolphins game. We'll be live straight after this for that one as well. That hopefully is a belter. I don't know, I'm taking an upset here. I'm surprised that it's not even odds, especially with Payne Haas out for the Broncos. I am actually probably taking the Dolphins there. I just feel like they might be able to sneak it. The Bulldogs and Knights tomorrow start off the day of Super Saturday. That should just simply be a Bulldogs win, right? Panthers versus Eels, that is going to be an interesting one where I think the Panthers are just going to be straight up way too good for them. But you never know. Maybe the Eels, they get a little bit slippery. Maybe they get a little bit of a slip around and can sneak one past the premiership favourites right now. The Panthers just simply have to be the premiership favourites as we speak. I know Warriors fans are screaming, but you can understand where I'm coming from. And then the Cowboys and Storm finishes off the day. That might be a bit of a hard one to watch to end the day. But then again, the Storm did lose to the Broncos last week. And then you go to Sunday, and it's the Raiders vs Sharks. That should be a belter. Both those teams are very desperate for a win, and both those teams are expected to be a lot higher than what they currently are on the table, even though it's only been 3 rounds. This is the 4th round. Those two teams expect a lot better from their performances right this very second. And then you get the greatest team of all time, the Gold Coast Titans, never lose a game ever again. They've gotten their 3 losses out of the way, and now they just go on an undefeated streak. It's actually silly. If you don't believe the Titans might win the next 10 comps in a row, it's actually quite silly of you, and I feel for you. I really do. They take on the Dragons on Sunday for the first game at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast, with the Rabbitohs having the bye. So, some interesting matchups. Some matchups this week that realistically should just go the favourites' way. Warriors Tigers, heavy favourite the Warriors. Bulldogs Knights, heavy favourite Bulldogs. Panthers Eels, heavy favourite Panthers. And Storm Cowboys, heavy favourite Storm. realistically, you should just be seeing what you would expect out of those games, but rugby league's a funny game. Sport is just funny in general, and you can see those sneaky little upsets, which we saw a lot of last year overall. But let's get into specifically this game here today. We'll go through the two-team lineups, we'll go through the ladder, and then we'll see what you are saying in the chat. So go and smack the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. Let's fire up here for a big day as we start to power through the season. The Warriors, they come into the game from numero uno. Number one, they're in first position right now. Hopefully, well, if you do stay there, if the Titans lose this week, the Titans will go to the top of the table on this ladder. So I do apologise for that, Warriors fans, but it just is the case here on this channel. So just be aware of that you might not be first next week, even though you actually are first next week. Just be aware of that situation. But the Warriors coming to this game from first, the West Tigers coming to this game from fifth, and this is at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. Obviously, fifth, it's 1-1 for the Tigers. They've had a bias, they've got those 2 points. That's why they're up as high as they are as we speak. Now the ins here for the Warriors, Adam Pompey, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Chance Newell-Klukstad, and Luke Metcalf. Massive in, well early too. We were expecting round 7, round 8. This is round 4, so that's huge in there of Luke Metcalf, with the outs being Ali Liatawa, Alofiana Khan-Pereira, Luke Hansen, and Morgan Gannon. The fullback is Tane Tuapiki, with the wingers being Dylan Watini-Zelezniak and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. The centres are Chance Newell-Klukstad and Adam Pompey. You go to the 5'8", which is Luke Metcalf, the halfback being the man who never misses, Tanner Damwell Boyd. Front row forwards are James Fisher-Harris, who is the captain, and Jackson Ford, who has been having an incredible season. I think he's still on top of the Dally M leaderboard. And the number 9 is Wade Egan. Back row of Leka Halasima, Leka the Wrecker, and Jacob Laban, with Aaron Clark as the 13. You go to the interchange, Sam Healy, Mitchell Barnett, Dimitri Vaymalga, Tanner Stowers-Smith, Marata Niokordre, and Chanel Harris-Tavita, with the coach being Andrew Webster. Now, it is interesting because Mitchell Barnett can't get into the starting roster right now because of how well Jackson Ford is playing, and also James Fisher-Harris being James Fisher-Harris. Mitchell Barnett just can't find his way into the starting lineup as the captain. Fisher-Harris is the captain here today, but Mitchell Barnett is also a captain of the New Zealand Warriors, and he can't get into that starting front row because of how well Jackson Ford has been playing, which is quite crazy and shows you how much positivity is coming out of this club right now. Their forward pack is just monstrous. I do have my questions about Jacob Laban. I do, but then again, he is young. He's got plenty to show. Aaron Clark, he's one of the best 13s in the game right now. Just as simple as that. Get around my boy Ez. Leka Halasima, one of the best prospects in the game. He is just killing it on all levels, whether it be in the centres or the back row. He just is a crusher of a player. And the forwards, Fisher-Harris and Jackson Ford, alongside Mitchell Barnett off the bench. What an absolute scene that is. It's just fantastic. This forward pack is fantastic. And then you've got the 1-2 duo, the 1-2 punch of Wade Egan and Sam Healy. And I really like Sam Healy. And I do think that he is definitely your future. But Wade Egan's doing his job, just as well. So there's no complaints at all about that forward pack. And then when you go to the back line here, like this Warriors team could do something this year. Tane Tuapiki keeps his fullback spot. You just love to see that. Chance Newell-Klukstad pushed into the centres, which is super interesting there. Obviously, Ali Liatawa is out. Is Ali Liatawa surely hasn't been dropped, has he? Has he, or is he injured? I'm assuming that he's injured. Obviously, you can let me know in the chat if he is not. But he might have just simply been dropped, because I can't see anything here about, and I know that's got, okay, so I've just seen Maxi Jessic recovery report, Ali Liatawa out for several weeks. Is that now? Because right this very second, that's telling me that article was posted on June 17th, 2568 BE. Oh, I'm in Thailand, so obviously June 17th is not now, but Thailand gives you Thailand gives you some random dates, so Google just doesn't help out with that one. I feel like he might have been dropped and they've gone with Chance. I could be wrong. I'll look at the chat in a moment. But either way, Tane Tuapiki in the fullback, I love that because he is a fantastic little player. Gold Coast Titans product. He's from the Goldie. Get around him. But no, look, this back line is really good. And the biggest thing to talk about is Luke Metcalf and Tanner Boyd. We're worried that Tanner Boyd's been so good, but we were worried that when Luke Metcalf came back, Chanel Harris-Tavita is available here, Tamani Martin obviously not, but we were worried that when Metcalf came back that we didn't know what Andrew Webster was going to do if he took Tanner Boyd out and put him to the 14 or He took Channel Harris Tavita out. Obviously, that's been the case here, and he's put Luke Metcalf into the 6 rather than that 7. There was also the option of Tanner into the 6 and Metcalf in the 7, but I just don't think that would have worked at all. And then that would have been going down a very Cronulla Sharks route, in my opinion, with Nico Hines and Braden Trindle. And then they've just gone too far past now where they just have to stick with that. But I love that Luke Metcalf has come into this 6. He is more of a 6 of mine than he is a 7. Again, last year, when they were going so well, when he was going so well, the Warriors were not attacking well. Their defense was really good, and he was able to, really benefit from this team overall, and it was really strong in what he was playing like. But overall, the attack does usually come down on the halfback. And whilst he was so good, at the end of the day, the Warriors' attack was not so good. And if you would like to debate that, please feel free to, but the stats don't back you up there with last year. Despite the fact you were top 4, you were like 11th for attack, whilst your defense was top 3, top 2. That was the Warriors in 2025 before the injuries to Barnett and Metcalf. So now their attack is working. You've got to stick with Tanner Boyd. Metcalf comes into the 6. He can do his game. Tanner Boyd can be the director. And I really like that. I actually think they're going to look even better than they already have with these two here. It might take a little bit for them to get on the same wavelength and for Metcalf to take on his new responsibility as a 6 rather than a 7. But I do think overall this is the right move here from Andrew Webster. So I'm really hype on the Warriors right now. I think they've had 3 really good performances. They whooped the Knights. They whooped the Raiders. Both those teams obviously still have their question marks, especially the Raiders right now after a really good year last year. They're now 1-2. And then that Roosters game 42-18, where the Roosters, they don't look fantastic. Let's be honest. They got a win last night, but at what cost mentally? The first half was just deplorable. The second half was a lot better. They'll take 2 points. But the reason why I refer to this is because those 3 matchups there aren't really the matchups I'm looking for the Warriors right now. They take on the Storm in 2 weeks' time in Melbourne. That's a massive one. They don't actually take on the Panthers in CommBank Stadium until round 13. So they've got a little bit between drinks there. The Sharkies game in Cronulla next week will be quite difficult, despite the fact the Sharks haven't looked exactly at their best. And they do play the Titans in round 7, where that should be an easy win. At the end of the day, the bogey team of the Warriors in recent years has been the Titans, so you do have an air of caution around that, but you should be expected to win that game. So when you look at your first 7 rounds here, obviously you're 3-0. I think that as long as you're from here, if you're the big team that you expect yourselves to be, I genuinely think you need to be at a minimum of 5-3. 5-2 by the end of the 7th round. You don't have a bye. So I do think that considering you've already started off with a 3-0, you just need to get those 2 extra wins here between the Tigers, the Sharks, the Storm, and the Titans. Now, obviously, you're going to go into it expecting a win against the Titans, whether that happens or not. You would expect a win there, so that gets you to 4, and then you just need to win 1 out of the Tigers, Sharks, and Storm, and you realistically should just beat the Tigers here, so that would be 5 right there. I do think you can pick up that result against the Sharkies. The Storm down in Melbourne, I know the Broncos just beat them, but the Warriors just never seem to beat the Melbourne Storm. They just never do. So out of their first 7 rounds, I would actually just look at right this very second saying that they only get 1 loss, which is pretty huge for them. That would be absolutely massive. Again, a lot of the teams that they are playing aren't exactly the strongest, but the Raiders did come first last year, not looking the same this year, and the Roosters were expected to have a good year this year. So, it's only 3 rounds in. We need to see past 7. If you go anything less than 5-2, I think that's actually more of a disappointment than you think. If you go 4-3, based off of a 3-0 start, I think you'll look at it and go, well, we should have definitely picked up another one. We should, because that means that you would have lost one of those games to the Tigers. You probably would have lost. No, you would have lost one of those games to the Tigers or the Titans if you end up on 4-3. You would have lost at least one of those 2 games, which would be a disappointment there. And again, you're still looking good. 4-3 is still a really good start, and preseason-wise, it's a fantastic start. But based off of what we've seen so far, you would be like, well, there's still a few questions here. You can't be losing to the Tigers with no Jarome Luai, and you can't be losing to the Titans in general. Now, let's move to the Tigers, but I am backing them for 5-2 start. But let's move to the Tigers now. Falatino Tavana and Latu Fainu are in, with Jarome Luai and Patrick Herbert being out. The fullback is Jareem the Dream Buller, with the wingers being Luke Lalali'i and Falatino Tavana. Centres of Sunya Torova and Hiamasi Marcassini, with the 5'8" Jock Madden, the halfback Adam Dewey, who has been really good this season. The front row forwards are Terrell May and Fanua Pole, with the number 9 Abisai Korowisau, who is the captain. Back row Samuela Fainu and Kai Pearce-Paul, with the 13 being Alex Twal, and then the interchange, Jarrell Skelton drops to the bench, Tristan Hope, Sione Fainu, Royce Hunt, Alex Seyfarth, and Latu Fainu, with the coach being Benji Marshall. The halves are going to be the biggest question mark today, especially with the form that we're seeing from Tanner Boyd and Metcalf coming back in, and we know how good he is. Obviously, these guys are going to have a monumental job to try and get one over their counterparts here. It is going to be very, very difficult for them. I don't know how Dewey's fitness is because he had to leave the game early last week. We were surprised that he's even playing this week, but he is here. Obviously, no Jerome Luai. And Jock Madden doesn't exactly bring out the most excitement out of me. Overall, we've seen him for a while now. It just doesn't really bring out an incredible amount of excitement. So these guys have a mountain of work to try and get over this Warriors team. And, with the forward pack that the Warriors do have, compared to... well, the Tigers' forward pack is actually pretty good, to be fair. This will be a battle of the forwards in a lot of ways, but I do feel like the forwards are going to give a lot more room for the Warriors' halves than they're going to give a lot room for the Tigers' halves, based off of the Warriors' defense overall being as strong as it is. So you got to look at those halves and just say this is just such a difficult game for them to get anything going, especially when this is a makeshift pairing. The back line is actually really strong. Dream Buller, fantastic fullback. The wingers are very inexperienced though, and they're going up against extremely experienced wingers of Dylan Watini-Lesniak and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. But Tavano and Laulali'i, man, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. And the centers of Sunday Turova and Hiamasi Makasini also have their question marks here. Turova is good, but he hasn't exactly become the play that we were expecting him to come. Obviously, he plays fullback for Fiji. That's, for mine, probably... it was his best position. I don't know if it still is his best position. But Sunday Turova is he can be really good and he can be really poor as well. This 2 through 5 does have a significant amount of question marks, and they're going up against a really in-form 2 through 5 of the New Zealand Warriors and just their team in general. It's going to be tough, but that one of Dream Buller really does bring it up there, and Adam Dewey has been having a really good season. So whilst there's a lot of questions with this 1 through 7 for the Tigers, there is also still some pretty positive benefits, but if Lua was here, I'd have a lot more confidence in this 1 through 7 than with Jock Madden and Dewey being the halves. And then the forwards of Terrell May, Whenopole, Apisa Koroisau, that 8, 10 and 9 is not the same as the Warriors forwards, but it does really come close to Fisher Harris, Ford, and Wade Egan. Koroisau has been incredible in the game for a very long time. He had to shift him to the 7 at the last part of last week's game, which is what he plays for Fiji. I don't believe he's a 7 at all, but in the 9, he's fantastic. Bole, I probably would put him below Jackson Ford still, and then Terrell May, I would have him below Fisher Harris, but Terrell May is still an absolute monster and a workhorse. But the back rowers here for Fainu and Kai Pearce-Paul, you could actually make an argument. You could have a debate and say that they collectively might be better than Halasima and Jacob Laban so far this season. Like, Halasima has been fantastic. Haven't really necessarily rated Laban a fantastic amount. But Samuela Fainu I believe this is his breakout year. I think he's had a really good couple of games. Kai Pearce-Paul didn't really do anything last week, but the first week scored a couple of tries. I do actually like that Tiger side, and if you want to go even, I'm happy to go even. I wouldn't say there is a clear leader between the two back rowers of both these teams. And then Alex Twal versus Aaron Clark. Twal's actually not too bad, but Aaron Clark is clearly a step above in my personal opinion right now. So, look, when you look at both these teams, realistically, you just have to tip the Warriors here. I don't think that anyone's going to have a great deal of confidence in this Tigers team today. I do have a lot more belief in them across the season to pick up a lot of results. I don't think they're going to make the top 8 Tigers, but I do think they have it in them to have a much better year than obviously their last however long, 15 years if you want to say, or for not 15 years because then you'd be assuming they go into the finals, but I do think that they are on track for a better position. It's just not yet. Just have to wait a bit, just have to wait a bit and be patient, which is the worst thing to hear. As I'm a Titans fan, I know how you feel. You've always been told to be patient, to wait it out. It's like, well, fuck me, man. I've been waiting for ever. You've been waiting for absolutely ever. But the Warriors, they were patient through some tough years, and look at them now. Bulldogs, they were patient through some tough years, and look at them now. Well, not all the Bulldogs fans were. Not all the Warriors fans were. There were some lower crowds when they weren't going well. Now they're going well. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry and every man and his dog support those teams. But also, there's a reason why, and it's because they are going really well. So I'm going to take the Warriors here. I do just simply think that they should be the better team here. In regards to the Tigers' first 7 rounds, though, obviously they had the bye. They beat the Cowboys 40-16, and they lost the Rabbitohs 20-16 in a really close one. The Warriors today, then the Eels in round 5, the Knights in round 6, and the Broncos in round 7, and that's at Campbelltown. What would be your ideal first 7 rounds here? You know, you're 1-1, so this is out of 6 games. I really just don't see you winning here today. But I think that out of the next 4 rounds, you have to target Eels and you have to target Knights. I actually don't know because I don't want to say a 3-4 is success. I don't, but I don't know if you beat the Bronx, but I don't know how long Payne Haas is out for. I don't know if you beat the Bronx. I guess if you get to 4-3, then that means you win 3 out of your next 4 games, which would be out of the Wazzy Eels, the Knights, and the Bronx. You'd have to assume that will probably come from Eels, Knights, and Broncos, in my opinion. You'd have to assume if you lose this game here today, then you have to go 3-0, and I just don't necessarily think that's going to be the case there. So I will actually go and say a a positive start to your year could. I think 3-4 is respectable here. And that again, that's a losing first 7 rounds, but I think you can probably understand where I'm coming from. I do think that you should be, if you believe that you're a top 8 team this year, you have to be beating the Eels, the Knights. The Broncos is still tough, even though they haven't looked great so far this season. I think that a 3-4 start. Oh, sorry, that would be a 3-3, wouldn't it? No, because you can't have a 3-4 because you had your bye. I think you have to get to 3-3. I think you must get to 3-3, which would mean that you need to win 2 out of your next 4 games, which is probably Eels and Knights, probably. And if not the Eels, then Knights and Broncos. But then if you don't beat the Warriors, then you don't beat the Eels, you are then 1 of the 3 already, and then you just have to go and smack out those last 2 games against the Knights Broncos before you take on the Raiders and the Sharks and the Storm in a pretty difficult 3-week stretch. So I think 3-3 is minimum. 3-3 is a minimum here for the Tigers. If you go anything less than that, especially after that first week win after the bye, you'd be pretty disappointed. I guess like you're used to that, like we all are down the bottom of the table. You're used to that, but I think you'd be pretty disappointed with that overall. So look, again, I'm taking the Warriors here today. I could see a world where they win this 113 plus. I'm probably going to back in a 13 plus. But the Tigers, their forwards will give their halves some space. But it's just Jock Madden and Dewey just don't bring it really out of you. Now, quickly in regards to the ladder, there's about 38 minutes to go until the game does start here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. The Warriors, they are in first position on 6 points equal with the Panthers, the Rabbitohs, and the Bulldogs. Now, the Rabbitohs had their bye. They're on +6. They're not going anywhere above the Warriors, regardless of what happens here. The Warriors have a +84 with the best points differential in the game right now. Panthers with a +82, Rabbitohs +6, and the Bulldogs +5. So if the Warriors win this game, well, there's no guarantee they actually stay in first, even if they win, because it is only a 2-point gap between them and the Penrith Panthers. So say the Warriors win this game by 6 points and they go to +90. Well, the Panthers only need to win by 8 points or more against the Parramatta Eels tomorrow to go back above them. So there is a good chance that they still finish in first, but also they would need to win this game by a decent bit because I do expect the Panthers to come in on fire tomorrow. But if they win, there's nothing that they would be going below second. It'd be at minimum second. And then if they lose this game, the Panthers would just need to beat the Eels to go above them. They would have to lose by 80 points to go below the Rabbitohs, so that's obviously not happening. So second, the Bulldogs, they play the Knights. They would immediately go above them, so the Warriors would go into the third. Now, the Storm you've got to worry about there because the Storm are on 4 points. They've got a +17. They play the Cowboys. So if you lost this game by, say, 6 and went to -78, the Storm would only have to win by 8 points to go above you there. So you would go down to 4th. The Tigers are on +24. You're on +84. They're on 4 points. If they won by 30 points, then they would go above you. But just simply that shouldn't be happening here today. You shouldn't be doing that. So right now you're still in 4th. The Dolphins +22. They would need a 62-point swing on the points differential, and the Knights down +4. They just aren't doing it. So the lowest you can finish this week is 4th position. A win does not guarantee you first. A big win will probably guarantee you first, but the Panthers just need to match you by 2 points. So whatever you win by, you just got to hope the Panthers either lose or don't win by 2 points more than what you want. Then on the other side, you've got the West Tigers who are in 6th position on 4 points, equal with the Storm, the Dolphins, the Knights, the Eels, and the Roosters. Tigers have a plus 24 points differential. Storm with the plus 70. Dolphins with plus 22. Knights with plus 4. Eels with minus 30. And Roosters with minus 35. They're going to buy next week too, so they'll go up to the 6 points next week. But their points differential is just abhorrent right now. If the Tigers were to win this game, they would for the time being go above the Storm. They would also for the time being go above the Bulldogs. And also for the time being, also just go above the Rabbitohs actually, because they've got a plus 6. So they would go up to the third. They would dead set need to win by 60 prior to the Eels game for the Panthers to go above the Panthers. And if they won by 60, then clearly they would be on top of the table. But to go above the Warriors, they would have to win by 30 points or more. But realistically, if they win this game, their points differential isn't too bad. If they win this game, they're probably... I've got the Storm to beat the Cowboys and the Bulldogs to beat the Knights. But they would go above the Rabbitohs. So they'd go into 5th position, and I feel like that's pretty much as high as they could go. But what you've got to worry about is the same thing with the Panthers and Warriors. The Tigers have to win this game by 2 more points than what the Dolphins win their game by against the Broncos if the Dolphins win. So what you'd hope for is that the Dolphins either don't win or they don't win by 2 points more than what you get. But realistically, you'd be looking at 5th position there. Based off of the draw, you'd be looking at 5th position for the Tigers at the end of the round. And then if you lose this game, well, you could go below the Dolphins immediately because they've got and they play later against the Bronx, so just lose by less really. But if you lose this game by 2 points or more, you immediately go below them. But it realistically just comes down to a win or loss there for the Dolphins in a lot of ways. I guess though, if you lose by 8 and they lose by 8, then you'll still stay above them. But there's a likely chance that you could go to 7th. The Knights play the Bulldogs. They would have to win their game. But you could go to 8th. If the Eels win against the Panthers, you would go to 9th. You cannot go below the Roosters, though, unless you lost. Well, if you lost this game by 52 points, you would go below the Roosters. Unlikely, possible, sure, but unlikely. So you'd still be there at 9th. And then the Sharks, if they win by enough against the Raiders, could go above you, so you could go to 10th. The Cowboys would need to win by a mozza against the... I guess if you're losing by like 40 points here, then it brings into the Sharks, the Cowboys, and even the Broncos into play. Maybe not so much the Raiders and whatnot with the minus 37. But realistically, if you lose this, you're probably still only going to finish in 9th position. And that's quite funny considering that that's what we usually do consider the West Tigers at. They're usually a team that represents that 9th very, very strongly. And they're always there or thereabouts in that position there. But that's the ladder. That's the preview for today's game. Obviously about 30 minutes to go until the game does start. So smack the thumbs up button, subscribe, and hopefully we're in for a good game. But I am pretty confident that the Warriors will be able to get the job done here, son. Benny West says 28-20 to the Warriors. Chop Up says, BKR jinxed the Eagles. Good work. Now my kid's got nothing to eat. Well, no, I tipped the Roosters. And I tipped the Roosters 13 plus. What are we talking about? And my tips haven't been great so far this season, to be fair. Maui says, who you got winning? I got the Warriors winning this one. Ben says, Warriors will do what they always do when it comes to beating the Panthers, Storm and Broncos, and that's flop. Well, Broncos aren't exactly a team to look at as a metric right now, considering that they did still start the season 0-2, losing to Parramatta and giving up 40 points, and also losing to the Penrith Panthers 26-0. So I don't think that we should be including as we currently speak. But then again, you could make the argument that the Broncos still beat the Storm, but the first 2 weeks still do come into account there. And I'd be a lot more confident in the Storm right now, especially with nowhere near as much media controversy than what the Broncos do have. The Broncos are just getting absolutely slapped left, right, and centre by the media. Now they're without Payne Haas. Adam Reynolds comes back in, which I actually think makes them a little bit slower than what they would normally be. And that's why I don't think that the Broncos actually beat the Storm in Melbourne with Adam Reynolds. I think that Ben Hunt being a 7 is actually a bit of a better situation for them. But that's just my personal opinion. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be including them with the top 3. But I do agree with what you're saying there, Ben, on the basis that I need to see them do it first against the Panthers and the Storm before I can go all balls to the wall for them. I have seen the positives. I have seen the improvement in what we needed to see improved, and that's a good start. That is a good way going forward. But until we see them go and beat the Storm in 2-3 weeks' time, I think it's 3 weeks. No, I think it's 2 weeks' time from now. I just can't really get over that hump until that moment happens. But I do give them a chance. Damien says, fingers crossed boys can win 4 in a row. Go the Wars. Well, you should be winning 4 in a row. The Warriors should be winning this game. Again, Jerome Luai is out here for the Tigers. They've got makeshift halves. Even though Dewey's been good, it just isn't the same Tigers team that you would normally expect. I think your forwards ultimately are better than their forwards. And I think that the back line is just well in advantage of the Warriors with the experience and the quality that we're seeing right now. So I feel like there's if the Warriors lose this, it'll actually make me drop off completely in regards to my belief for this team, because there is no world that they realistically should be losing this game, especially at home as well in New Zealand. Not that I think that home ground advantage is as important as people do make out, but there's no way that they realistically should be losing this game. Michael says the Wars 40-12. Bukana. Emmanuel says good afternoon up the Wars. Get around ya. Mr. Atozi says alien weaponry. Kai Tangata. There you go. Lagan says what's the difference between Blaze and the Warriors? Nothing. Both are elite and eating cat tonight in their respective countries. Wars 13 plus. Who the fuck is eating cat? What? What? Is Thailand known for eating cat? Is Thailand known for eating cat? I would understand that joke if I was in like China or Vietnam or something in regards to situations that they currently have. But Thailand, is that known for that? I'll take the elite part. I don't know about the other part though. No, he says if the Wires are a serious contender this year, they need to win by 13 plus minimum. I agree. I agree. They should be winning this game by 13 plus. But the Warriors are known to have that false delivering where you think that they are really good and then they just completely die in the arse. I don't think it happens tonight, but it's just when you've watched this game all your life, you can't kick that feeling until it's proven wrong. Xavier says up the Tigers. Well, good luck, man. Good luck. Look up has been timed out here, so he's probably he's just kind of slapping up the chat. Said I want Storm to suffer. I hate the Storm. About time they're losing players. Okay, got it back the Tigers for an upset. Okay. Esco B said, I didn't think Adam was going to play after what I've seen last week. What a recovery. Yeah, I agree. I didn't think that Adam Dewey would be here as well. I thought that him and Luai were both going to be out and they were going to be forced to bring... Well, Latu Fainu is back in the team, so he's on the bench there. They would have been forced to bring him back really early. Like as in to the starting lineup. They would have been forced to play Latu Fainu immediately off of an injury, probably early. And then also Jock Madden, and that just would not have been the way. It would have been nice to have seen a full-strength Tigers team here today, but I still would have probably been tipping the Warriors in that one. I still would have been. Look up says, Madden is good, bruh. He did an awesome job at the Bronx. Yeah, we're definitely watching two different games here, man. We're definitely watching two different sports, clearly. Freddie says, was going to win. I just hope Metcalf doesn't come back and take that spotlight. Yeah, it's very, very similar situation, but not the same situation, but very similar to the Roosters with Cherry Evans and Sam Walker, where currently, maybe not so much the second half, but definitely the first half and throughout the season, you've seen that Cherry Evans, who is the leading halfback and the captain and the man, whether it be for Queensland and for Manly and whatnot, his whole career has been where he's the leader. And now he comes over to the Roosters where he can't be the leader. He can't be the guy. He's 35, 36 years old now. It's Sam Walker's team. It is. And Sam Walker needs to step up. We do need to see Sam Walker do what he needs to do, which we haven't necessarily seen so far. But Cherry Evans needs to take that step back and allow Sam Walker to control the game. If Sam can. And I expect Sam to do it, but right now they are getting in the way of each other, and right now you are seeing, I guess, Cherry trying to be the similar and same player to what he was at Manly, which I just don't think is going to work out for them. And that is, I guess, the biggest concern people had for the Roosters when Cherry Evans was signed. It was actually nice to see Hugo Savala get a crack last night. He actually played well in the centres, which is a good sign for him because he was the one who had to take a step back whilst Cherry Evans come across there. But it's the same thing that goes over here for the Warriors where, again, with all due respect to Luke Metcalf, he was incredible last year before he got injured. But the attack of the Warriors was 10-11 on the rankings when he was there. And the halfback, it does fall pretty heavily on the halfback for the attack. Again, he was unbelievable. But in regards to the attack, it wasn't actually flowing for the Warriors. So I think that the best thing for him is now being in the six and allowing Tanner to keep doing what he's doing. Because honestly, he should be the top of the Dally M leaderboard. I have no idea why he's not. I know Jackson Ford's been incredible, but Tanner has been so important and has been the reason for the Warriors being where they are, in my personal opinion. And the forwards have been unbelievable, and Jackson and all that sort of stuff. But I do think that Tanner clearly deserves to be at the top of the Dally M leaderboard with how well he's been playing. So it confuses me that he's not on the top and he's not higher up, but they are obviously taking points off of each other there. So you can't change a winning formula, but you do need to play your best players. So that's why Metcalf coming in, he needs to allow Tanner to do his thing, and then you play the floater, which is what I've always thought that he was. I always thought that Metcalf was a 6. And I think he was more of a 6 when he was at Cronulla before he came across, but I could be wrong in regards to that. I just don't think that he is a game-leading 7. I think that he is a game-changing 6, and Tanner is the game-leading 7, is what I would say. Please don't spam chat, Jay says. Yep. And then there's another timeout. Gee whiz, everyone's getting timed out. Okay, I get why Jay's on that one. I get why that one happened. Shauno says, good afternoon, mate. Get around here, mate. Last night in Bangkok was so hot. It was ridiculous, dude. I went down to the markets and I got something to eat. It was unreal. I had like a shaved pork and it was unbelievable. So cheap as well. And then I got banana chocolate, like, pancakey thing, which was unreal. But I was sweating up a storm the entire time. It was like 34 degrees at night yesterday here in Bangkok. It's 38 degrees outside right now, but it was 34 degrees in Bangkok last night. It is just hot, man. It is. It's just hot. Yeah, excessive heat. And it's meant to be again over 30 tonight on the heat. Wowee. It's going to be brutal. Mackie says, may the best side get up tonight. Good luck. Glory, South Sydney says, let's go to Waz. Melissa O'Leary says, we have been patient. We deserve better days. I feel ya. I feel ya. Hello. I get ya. Here on the Gold. Well, I'm not on the Gold Coast, but the Gold Coast fans, we all get ya. Tigers fans, they all get ya. Warriors fans, they all get ya. Knights fans, they all get ya. Patience. And then Dragons fans are starting to get it. Again, Dragons 15, 16 years ago won a premiership, so they're out of that area. But they also haven't made the finals, I think, since 2018 or something like that, where I think they beat the Broncos by a big score in Brisbane that week. In the first week, they smashed them, but they haven't been in the finals for a long time now. And they have been really down that bottom area of the table, and it doesn't look like progression. So the Dragons fans are starting to get it. They're starting to understand it. But you've still got another good decade, Dragons. You've still got another good decade. Max, what time is the game? In 25 minutes' time, mate. 25 minutes' time. GT says, do you think the Dolphins will end up finishing first or second at the table at the end of the season? What? First or second on the table at the end of the season? What? Spidey Boy says, yo, boys, I'm at the game right now at the Waz. Good luck there, son. Charles says, what are the night time festivities over there? Well, I don't partake in the situations and the nighttime activities that you guys probably think. I have a partner, and I'm very faithful to my partner, but Thailand is very well known for people who don't do that. So when you're walking around here, you do have to be quite careful. I just go to the markets, or I enjoy my time here in the room. I've got a beautiful view here of Bangkok, or I'll just go and explore kind of deal. I really just enjoy existing in different places, so I don't need to necessarily actually do anything overall, and I will genuinely just enjoy that, right? So nighttime activities, if you want to have fun, you can have fun, whether that be for party or that can be for the other reasons that I'm talking about there. But you can also you can come to Thailand and not get involved in that kind of stuff as well. It is entirely possible. It's just down to what you intend to do. Melissa O'Leary says, time for a big surprise win. Well, good luck. I think I heard the Whainui brothers might be playing for Fiji. Was that fake news? Well, no, I would assume that is the... I would assume that that's definitely going to be happening. Latu Whainui is a massive one that they need, because they've had to play Apisai Koroisau in the halves. If not, they have Kurt Donahue from the Dolphins, who is their 6, and then they'll put Brandon Wakeham into the 7. That just shouldn't be the case. So, and of course, I obviously love Fiji. My family's Fijian. My mum lives in Fiji. My daughter is Ratuman. So, of course, I love Fiji, and I've got a massive passion for them being successful. And that's why I'm really, really hoping that Latu Whainui is there, Samoa Whainui is there, Sione Whainui is there. Obviously, you've got Vili Bombili, Viliami Kikau, Tuikami Kamitha, Sunya Torova, Dream Bulla. You know, there's plenty of good, talented players here in this Fiji roster, and they'll get a few surprises, because in the World Cup they usually do overperform, if you want to use that word, but they definitely do perform a lot of the time. And in the last World Cup, actually got kind of dudded by New Zealand in a lot of ways. But overall, the Kiwis still just got the job done anyway. But the Fijians will come in this year. So this obviously will be live for all of the Rugby League World Cup at the end of the year. But they'll be solid, especially if they have that pure halfback in Latu Whainui, or they have a half, because the other guys. For mine, I'm okay if you have Kurt Donahue as a 6, but Latu Whainui needs to be the 7. Definitely needs to be the 7. Nate says, a little birdie told me that Dragons are doing a trade with Titans Sloan for Sammy. Okay. I think Sammy's time at the Gold Coast is done. I'm surprised he's not going to Perth, but sure. Uh, but I've seen this rumour as well. I don't know if it's true, but it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. I don't think that Tyrell Sloan necessarily improves the Titans, though. From what I've seen, I don't necessarily believe that that really does a great deal. But I also think that Philip Sammy, it's time for him to have a crack somewhere else. Love the guy; he's a good dude, but I think it's time that he has a crack somewhere else, and you guys can try and get him at the Dragons. Rizzy out there says, I'm excited for the Broncos game. Yeah, right after this, Broncos versus the Dolphins. A hard game to predict. It is, because if Payne Haas was playing, I'd probably still lean with the Broncos, but I am fancying maybe the Dolphins to get up. I am. That little birdie, was it named Jag, was it? Well, I was on the Dragons vodcast earlier this week previewing our game. I'm actually going to be on there again on Sunday after our game. They want to do a wrap-up post-review with me, so I'll be on the Dragons vodcast again on Sunday night. Jag wasn't there, though. But I think he was in the comment section. I do think he was in the comment section. He asked me a question, but he wasn't actually on the podcast itself. No, Jay, a more reliable bird. Sean says, next 6 days, mate, 38 plus. I know it's crazy, dude. What are you smoking, Dolphins fan? Yeah, I don't know where that comment came from. Right now, you should just be asking me, do you think the Dolphins make the 8? And I'm still got my reservations about it. I need to see them continue to do what they did to the Sharks, and they need to do it tonight. If the Dolphins are going to make the top 8, they have to be beating this Broncos team tonight with no Payne Haas and Renault coming back in, and Broncos having a mare in regards to the media as we currently speak. So if the Dolphins are going to be the team that you expect them to be, then they need to definitely win this game tonight. If you want to be first place, you need to be winning by 13 plus. And I still don't even necessarily think that proves an incredible amount, with the Broncos still currently being 1 and 2 despite their win against Melbourne. But the question you should be asking is, can the Dolphins make the top 8, or will the Dolphins be in the top 8? Not will they be first or second, because that is diabolical right now. That is ludicrous. We still saw them lost to the Rabbitohs 40-32, and then it still took them 60 minutes to wake up against the Gold Coast Titans, who most predicting to come last this year. The Titans on either side of that have been beaten well by the Sharks and well by the Cowboys, because they are just ridiculous in the Titans. So I don't know how you would have such heavy... how on earth would anybody have such heavy confidence in the Dolphins so far this season, based off of a win against a Sharks team that, outside of a win against the Titans of all teams, they have been really unimpressive, the Sharks. And again, they put them away well, but also the Sharks have been really disappointing in these first 3 games, minus the Titans one, but the Titans one was expected. So where is this confidence coming from that you've seen enough that the Dolphins are even in the top 2 conversation, let alone top 4 conversation? I definitely hear out top 8, and I hear that conversation, and I think that right this very second you'd be liking them for it, but they also have shown no consistency over the years at any stage, like no consistency. So I don't know where that confidence is coming from whatsoever. Nate says, Blaze, mate, I'm 41. I've seen my team win 1 premiership. I think I know the feeling, buddy. Yeah, okay, Nate. Yeah, thank you, mate. So that 1 premiership, yeah. We haven't won a premiership. Hey, fun fact for you, we haven't been in a grand final. Oh, sorry, we've been in 1 prelim and lost to the Roosters. Oh, wait a second, that was off the back of our only ever win in the finals, Nate. So I think there is levels to this, and this is what I'm saying. You're getting it. You've also got, and this is not me having a crack at you, by the way, you obviously know that, but you've also got history to fall back on. We at the Titans have nothing to fall back on. We have never been successful. No previous franchise, even though they're not actually correlated with the Chargers, the Giants, the Seagulls, and the Titans. They're not actually correlated. They're not the same organisation. But we have won 1 finals game in our entire history, coming back in 2010. And outside of that, we've lost our other finals games that we've played in. Yes, we've come 3rd, and yes, we've come 4th, and yes, we've made the prelim, but we've never faced in a grand final. So I think that there are levels to this, Nate. Whilst I'm saying you're starting to get it in a lot of ways, you still have that premiership in 2010, which was our best year, and we made the prelim final, right? So I think you understand where I'm coming from. There are definitely levels to it. Tigers fans absolutely get it. Their last premiership was in 2005. They do have the history of Balmain, but they've also got the history of the Western Suburbs Magpies, which isn't successful. But at the end of the day, you've got the history at the Dragons to say, oh, okay, we've only won the 1 premiership in 41 years, which is still more than what a couple of teams, the Warriors, haven't got a premiership. They have not won a premiership in their history. It's still more than them through 30-odd years, 31 years, I think, now for the Warriors. The Raiders have gone now 20? No, they're 30. I think 31 years as well. They won 94, was it? 95? I can't remember. But it's been a long time for the Raiders as well. So that's why I say there is definitely levels to this. So whilst you say you get it, you are definitely in the conversation, but not to the same levels of say, what a Tigers and Titans fan kind of has. You understand what I'm saying? I can't believe this is the problem with it. I'm fighting for who's shitter right now. I'm fighting to say, no, my team is shitter than yours. That's crazy. When it's wild to think like that. It's wild. That's why when a Roosters fan comes in and says, "Oh, please feel sorry for us. I feel sympathetic," or a Panthers fan last year comes and goes, "Oh, I'm feeling so bad. Our team sucks, and a little bit of sympathy would be nice." Fuck off, man. It's incredible. It is incredible. Mitchell says Tino Tavana has never lost a game in his career. Bet your house on the Tigers. Yeah, probably not going to bet my house on the Tigers, Mitchell. Probably not going to bet anything actually on the Tigers. Yes. Nintendo Freak says, Do you see old white Australians over there for the culture? My 69-year-old grandfather goes over there for the culture for sure. Nintendo, Thailand is full of these people. Thailand is full, and that is not to say everyone is like that, but you cannot walk. Bangkok's not as bad for it as other places. Like Pattaya, I believe, is a lot crazier for that kind of stuff. Back in the day when the age was lower, was even worse. But yeah, you do get a lot of people, and I it's not my kind of deal, but you will see them give. Again, this isn't everyone, but you will see these like old dudes walking around with these really young, attractive women, and they'll kind of give you like a look at who I've got kind of deal. And you're just like, you're a loser, bro. Shush. Yeah, like do your thing. You do your thing away from me, man. But like, don't try like an ego thing where you're doing like this to say like, look at me, mate. We know that that's just because of money. Like, it's not because you've just picked up this random chick. We know it's because of money. It's part of it, and it's all consensual and whatnot. But it's just like you haven't just randomly picked up this absolute stallion, 18-year-old as a 70-year-old dude. We understand what's going on here, man. So the ego shouldn't be in it. But yeah, you can't walk around without saying this. Kyle English says, "Hey, gentlemen and ladies, Halasima going to score a try tonight." I actually haven't given my try scorers for tonight so far. So I did really well with my try scorers last night. I picked up Tom Trbojevic, and he obviously scored the first try of the game. I also said Noan Tuase, who scored a double. And I said Robert Toyer was my soft selection there as well in the back line for Roosters, and he also scored a try. So I'm usually happy just because I always do 4 plays, 1 from each backline and 1 from each forward pack. So I'm always happy if I can just get 2. 2 is pretty good in my opinion. So in the backline for the Warriors, I will. You know what? I don't mind a little bit of Luke Metcalf here. I really don't. In his new job responsibility, I don't mind a little bit of Luke Metcalf on return. I'm going to go a little bit astray here because realistically, Watani Selesniak and Veronica Tuivasa-Sheck, for mine, should be scoring with their experience and with their quality against these Tigers wingers. And it's not like this Tigers defense is anything spectacular. So you could kind of choose anybody in that back line, and it's a good shout. But for the Warriors, I'm actually going to go with a bit of a how you going one and say Luke Metcalf gets the job done on return in this game. And then in regards to the forwards, Lecker's been on such a good try scoring. He's been scoring plenty of tries so far. Do I want to go the obvious one there? Do I want to go an obvious one? Well, I didn't. Luke Metcalf is not an easy one to pick up there in the 5'8". So I guess I could go for a more obvious one. Look, Leck is obviously a massive shout. I'm going to back in Aaron Clark. I'll back in a bit of Aaron Clark. Sam Healy's soft one as well off the bench. But I'll back in Aaron Clark and Luke Metcalf for the Warriors. For the Tigers, let's go with Valentino Tavana. He was really good in the preseason and scored a couple of really good tries there. I don't think the Tigers are going to have a huge amount of points today against this Warriors defense, but I'll back in a bit of Valentino Tavana on debut. I think he may be able to get something. If the Tigers are going to score, they're probably got to go through Makasini and Tavana's side more so for mine. No, maybe not. They'll probably more so go to Tadorva and Luke Lavaliti's side. No, I'm gonna go on debut here. Valentino Tavana for the wing for the Tigers. He'd be going up against Dallin, so I could see it. And then for the forwards, I think I'm gonna have to go with Samuela Fainu for his first try. I'll go Sam Wallafainu. That's what you just said. Who's his try scorers? I'm literally saying them as we speak, man. So for the Warriors, I've gone Luke Metcalf and Aaron Clark. For the Tigers, I'll go Falatino Tavana and Sam Wallafainu, who hasn't scored just yet. And I am very topsy-turvy in regards to who I play my Supercoach draft team this week. Actually, what would you guys do? Let me know in the chat. Would you just straight up go Halasima, which is what I've got right now? Or would you go Sam Wallafainu? Would you? Because I did call Fainu as my breakout play this year, and I do think that he could have a good game here today. But I just don't know if I want to go away from the try-scoring ability this Warriors team currently has. And Halasima has been on a really good run of form with his tries that he's scoring. And he is in the better team overall. I think I might just leave Halasima there, but the question is definitely available. Like, it is predicting Fainu 66 and Halasima 58. I don't really care too much for the predictions overall. I think I have to go with Halasima. He's just in a better team right now. He's just in a better team. Max says, is this game on Channel 9? No, the next game would be. Broncos-Dolphins will be. This one not. Navaraya says, Metcalf better not come in and ruin the streak. I doubt it. I don't think that it would come in and ruin the streak, to be honest with you. It might take a little bit for these guys to get on the same wavelength, but you shouldn't be losing this game to the Tigers. It just shouldn't be happening. Which is, across the years, something that you would usually say and then tip the opposition team, the Warriors. Usually you would say the Warriors should just win this. They are guaranteed basically a win. I'm going to tip the opposition team. That is normally and typically what you would say with the Warriors, but I do have more confidence in the Warriors right now. Richard says, Tigers plus 13.5 under. Mind you, I did go Roosters under and got pipped in the final minutes. Well, you wish you should have listened to me with the Roosters 13 plus. I wasn't confident. I wasn't confident at half time in the Roosters 13 plus, but I did think that the Roosters were just simply the better team, and they proved it in the end. But it was a worrying one there for that. I've gone the Warriors 13 plus here. I think that they realistically should. Jerome Luai is such a big out here for this Tigers team, and Metcalf is such a big in. Richard says 46.5 is a long road for two decent teams. Decent is a interesting word for the Tigers right now, because we don't know a great deal about them as we speak. However, if you're going under, the Warriors have scored 42 points, 40 points, and 38 points. In 3 rounds, they've scored 120 points. 42, 40 is 42 is 82, and then 92, 102, 112, 120. Yeah, so 120 points in 3 rounds against. The first 2 games were against better opposition than the Tigers, and then the third game was against the Knights, and you're just like, okay. But 82 points against the Roosters and the Raiders are both, I think we would all agree, better teams overall that you would expect than the Tigers right now. So I don't really see how you're expecting this Tigers team to not give up points. Especially, well, look, the Tigers have been a little bit better in regards to their defense so far this year, but they're still giving up 16 points at minimum. 16 points to the Cowboys, who have been awful, and then the Rabbitohs at 20, which was actually pretty good for the most part, but the Tigers had most of the ball, still couldn't win that game. So they're still giving up. 36 points is actually not too bad through their first 2 rounds. You're actually pretty happy with that. You're taking 18 points per game on average, but this Warriors team just looks next level at the moment. At the moment, they do. So I'm not too sure where you're seeing of the under here, especially when also the Tigers did score 44 and 16 themselves. So they've scored 50 points in their first 2 games. That would be 25 points per game. So that'd be 75 points over 3 games, and the Warriors are at 120 points over 3 games. So I'm not too sure where we're seeing that. But if you're basically what you'd be backing in is that the Warriors can score a lot of points. You would actually be. Yeah, you're pretty desperate here for the Warriors to just not go on a mozza, because they could go over the over themselves. They could go over the over themselves before the Tigers even score. I don't necessarily think that happens, but there is an entire world where the Warriors could win this game by 50. There is, and that's not me saying the Tigers are a bad team. I just think that this game here specifically is the worst timing for the Tigers to play the Warriors. It is. But again, whenever you say the Warriors are guaranteed to win and they surely are going to get a win, typically they lose. So I'm aware of that as well. Lager says, yeah, and you should be grateful for that one finals win. Ruthless, mate, ruthless. Yeah, well, you should be grateful for your 3,452nd timeout. How about that? Dom says, Saints in the AFL have it rough too. Haven't won since 1966 and have the most wooden spoons by double the amount of second most. Yeah, they do have it rough. North Melbourne is another one in the AFL. There is a lot of teams. Like we could compare codes across all different sports. Chicago Cubbies, they won in 2016, but that was their first time in 108 years. So Leicester, they've only won it one. Well, to be fair, Premier League and football is very different, very very different. Prior to 2010, 11, Manchester City would have been in the conversation, but obviously they've gone on a run now. But every sport, you look across every sport, and you've got those kind of teams. It's just that European football and football in general, like if you're talking A-League, sure, because that's just a one league, same teams kind of deal. But if you're talking Premier League, it's a very different story overall. Fighting to be the shittest is so fun. It's really fun, Mitchell. Really, really fun. Would like to get away from having to fight for that at some point. Sports Life says, if the Titans lose to the Dragons in a close game, will you be happy with a close loss or does the scoreline not matter against the Dragons at home if you lose? The scoreline doesn't matter against anybody right now. You are 0-3. The scoreline doesn't matter. You just can't lose. I understand that if you're playing the Panthers, you shouldn't be expected to win, but then you would go 0-4. I just think at this point, if you are 0-3, you can't give a shit about if you lose in a close one. It's ridiculous. But again, this year is expected to be painful. It is expected to be a struggle of a year and building towards next year. So I guess you can take at least positives out of a close loss. But right now, 0-3, whether it be Dragons or Titans, I don't think losing in a close one does anything except for negatives overall. I think you just simply need to win a game. Xavier says, Benji just said that Madden brings a lot to the team because he's organised and a good kicker. Do you agree? I don't know if he brings a lot to a team. I think that he has his positives, but I wouldn't necessarily say... Of course, Benji's going to back in his 5'8", by the way. Of course he's going to back in his half. I don't think that he is anything spectacular. He'll do a job, is what I'll say. He'll do a job. He's nothing incredible, but he's also not awful. Nate says, 3 wins isn't really a streak. I reckon you need to win 5 out of 6 in a row to call it a streak. Yeah, but again, they haven't lost this season so far. But yes, I would agree. Oh, I'd say 4. I'd say 4 wins in a row would become a streak. I wouldn't really say 3 in a row is too much of a streak in the context that we're referring to, but I would say 4 in a row would be a streak. I think it's just because it's the very, very beginning of the season that's being brought up, but I would say 4 in a row is a streak. Welk says Warriors drop 40 on them. You should. GTR says, hey brother, hope you're well. Benji got nothing on the wires. Why is Benji Cup on a stray? Why is the old bench coming astray there? Nate says, what's the A-League? It is something that not many people watch. I actually think it's still going on now, isn't it? I used to love it. I think the rules doing pretty poor, aren't they? If the Gold Coast get a team, I'd actually fall on. I would get back into it, but yeah, no. Brisbane Roar are in 10th position. Auckland's still doing well up there in 2nd. They're obviously one of the new inclusions. They are the new inclusion. Overall, Auckland done well. All right, well, 3 minutes to go until the game starts. The Tigers are about to run out into the field, and the Warriors will be short on after. Obviously, hit that like button and subscribe. I'm just going to get myself another Coke Zero here before this game does start. So I'll be back in just one moment here. Right. Warriors getting ready to walk out. Here we go. Could you see the NRL taking over rugby union in the next 10 years as the superior rugby sport? Worldwide? No. New Zealand? It's a dicey conversation. It's dicey because the growth of rugby league in New Zealand is massive right now, especially with the Warriors going so well, and New Zealand rugby isn't like it used to be 10 years ago. I still think that New Zealand ultimately at the end of the day are a rugby union nation, but if you bring in that South Island New Zealand team, I think this is the perfect time to do it, and I know it's still going to be a while away, but it's the perfect time to capitalise on it now, as in the next 10 years, and I think that it could change, but ultimately Kiwis are the best. Kiwis in the chat, you can comment on this. You're the best people to ask about this question, but I could see a world that rugby league does capitalise on New Zealand if the Warriors keep up their success and then they bring in their South Island rivalry. A-League's so shy, Jamie McLaren left for the Indian League. Oh my gosh, Jacko, that is wild, man. That is wild, but yeah. Yeah, look, I don't think anyone's really going to. No one in Australia watches the A League, man. You know, you'll get pocket. We used to have really strong support for the A League. The Wanderers, they used to have massive support. Brisbane Roar, massive support. Melbourne Victory used to have massive support. There used to be a lot of support for it, but the FFA and the APL, which is effectively, like the leadership for the footballing organisation, the association, they were diabolical. And every time that it built some steam, they then decided to attack the fans, and they decided to attack the growth that was seeing, because they wanted to be like the way they handled the Wanderers back in the mid 2010s with the FFA was just diabolical, and with their RBB and all that. And then the APL, it was starting to grow some steam again after the Socceroos having a positive World Cup. Getting through the group stages and only losing to France and Argentina. That's positive for Australia, who don't really care about football. And then as soon as they started getting all that support and everyone was like, oh, maybe I'll check out the A-League again, whack, they changed the grand final thing and all the fans disagree with it and it pissed everybody off. So it's just like they just never build, because anytime anyone starts to care again, the APL or the FFA go, screw you, and just change everything up. So it's diabolical, but Australia's never been and won't ever be an actual football and caring nation within internally compared to Rugby League, AFL and the likes. But alright, the Warriors and Tigers are out in the field. Adam G is the referee. Give me some score predictions in the chat. Fire it up, son. Warriors, can you go 4-0? Tigers, can you go into a positive win record of 2-1? And you would finish in probably fifth by the end of the round if you win this game. Because you would jump the Rabbitohs, who have had the bye and got their 2 points, but you wouldn't jump the Warriors unless you won by 30. You wouldn't jump the Panthers unless you won by 60. And the Storm and the Bulldogs probably should win their respective matchups against the Cowboys and also the Newcastle Knights. But all right, we're underway. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Fisher Harris, he'll bring this ball out here to the 10 on first tackle. Let me just refresh. Oh, the score's already refreshed. Jay, I'm doing your job for you. Jay. Oh my gosh, we're fired up. So fired up. Come on, the 495 Tigers. You're off your rocker, Nath. You're off your rocker. Aaron Clark on third tackle. Good run there. Brings it out to the 20, but he gets the offload away. Jackson forward, Tanner Boyd. Boyd off to Jacob Laban. And Laban now will get this ball to the 30 on third tackle. I think the league below A-League gets better crowds. What is it, NPL or something? Surely not. I just think that it looks... We'll focus on Rugby League, but I think that you're probably looking at a smaller stadium looking bigger and the bigger stadiums looking smaller, but I do feel like the A-League would be getting bigger crowds than the NPL. So Tanner Boyd, I hope I made that understandable for you. So the Tigers will get this ball at the 10 through Dream Buller, and he'll bring it out now to the 20 on first tackle. Draz says, tips for both games today. Yeah, I went with the Warriors, and then I'm probably going to go with the Dolphins. I won't have time to really do a preview for the next game when that's on, because we'll go straight from this game into that game, but I'm probably going to take the Dolphins, yeah. Third tackle here for the Tigers at the 25. No Payne Haas, is just huge. And the Broncos haven't been confident outside of one half so far this season, which was the second half against the Storm. First half, they were still diabolical. And the Dolphins, if they're fast enough, they really could piece them apart. So the Tigers here at the 50. They roll it back to Api Koroisau and Jock Madden. He's just going to kick that one straight down the centre, and there'll be an easy one here for Roger. Tuivasa-Sheck brings it back to the 15 to the 20, and 22 metres out here on first tackle. 42-18. It's a shame, because football in Australia seemed a positive route. I remember going to screening in Sydney for Oz versus Argentina. Shame it's gone to bed since. Oh my gosh, the Tigers coming in with here with some intensity. Oh, I like it. I do like it here from the Tigers. Coming in with a little bit of intensity here. Tane Tuapiki, third tackle to the 25. They're not making a massive amount of metres here, the Wires early doors. Keeping you in check, mate. I'm in check. You slapped me enough times for me to be in check now. Fourth tackle for the Warriors, and it's going to be Wade Egan. He'll go to... no, he's just going to run it himself. This should be a 6 again. Have they called 6 again? No, they've just said it's fine. That should have been a 6 again for the Warriors. But anyway, Luke Metcalf gets the offload, and he'll bring it out to the 50. So at least they did get to the 50 at the end of that. And now Tanner Boyd is going to kick that one really high. There's not much of a chase here from the Warriors, but they'll all come up in a line, and they'll get Dream Buller down to the 22 through Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. And then they're going to penalise the Warriors. So you don't give the 6 again to the Warriors and then you penalise them afterwards? I don't even... Halasima doesn't even know... What is this penalty for? What did he call? In front of the kicker. I would like to see this again. Like to see that again. Go to Canberra Cannons. Is that MPL, is it? So the Tigers put that out to the 40 metre line, generous. The 40 metre line on the Warriors side of the field. So on the Tigers side of the field, sorry. And Kai Pearce-Paul, he will be at the 48 first tackle. Going to buy the bucket hat, brother. Yeah, they're pretty good, eh? The bucket hats are actually mad. Like, if I was in one consistent place for long enough, I would probably buy one of each from all the different clubs and wear it on the stream. But if I order it now, I'm going to be in another place literally on Tuesday. So it's very difficult for me to actually go and order something. But they're pretty cool, man. And the people who have bought them have sent me like screenshots and stuff on Instagram saying like it's mad quality. So the Tigers now at the 30. And they'll go out to Kai Pearce-Paul, which was my biggest concern with like Redbubble and whatnot, but it is actually good quality. Fourth tackle here at the 25, up Kotori Sau. He'll get it off to Dream Buller. Dream Buller then to the 15. 6 again for the Tigers. Wow. The Warriors giving it away a little bit, but they are very good defensively. So you're still probably confident they hold out here. Tigers now at the 10 on second tackle. How did Bullimore not play a single minute yesterday? How did Tangela Paseka only make 3 runs in like 66 minutes yesterday? So the Tigers hit the grass, and it goes back to Mukassini, who will be all the way back at the 30 now on third tackle. They lost all that momentum, and now they're going to have to come 30 metres out rather than the 10 where they should have been. The Tigers through Luke Lalali'i. He's at the 20 on fourth tackle. After Waj, Sean Lodge says, good luck, man. Out to Alex Twell, and Twell's going to be 15 metres out on fifth tackle. This Warriors defense is usually strong, and the Tigers will regress on attack today based off of their new halves pairing, but hopefully they can pull it together. Jock Madden into the line. Wasn't too bad, actually. I didn't actually mind that from Jock Madden, but it will be a knock-on from the Tigers. You know what? I will actually say that I liked what I saw from Jock Madden there. The Warriors defense was still very, very solid and would have had that cleaned up on the right-hand side regardless. Dewey tries a big haymaker pass over the top there to Falatino Tavana, and he just couldn't bring that in. But I really liked what Jock Madden did just then. He shaped to pass it and then darted for a run and then passed it, which brings the defensive eyes to him and then usually will bring space. But the Warriors' defense is so solid that it didn't really capitalise as much as it would have with other teams. Like, they would have slapped the Titans with that. Third tackle now, the Warriors at the 35. Brighton says he thought Kick changed his mind, played at the back. Yeah. And I thought that was good. Well, no, he thought Kick, and then he darted, and then brought the eyes in. Taintua Picky nearly gets away. He'll be fit tackle at the 50, and then decides to play at the back. Yeah, it was patience, and I like it. You know, I'll criticise players when I feel like they don't bring a great deal or they're not that great. But, bobble there from the Tigers, but Lalali'i gets it, and then taken down at the 12. But I will also, when they do something good and when they adjust themselves as a player, I will also give them their raps as well and their positives. For example, Utuakamanu is a player that I didn't agree with for a long time, and then it was only late last year he started to really come into his own play. He's actually having a pretty solid year this year as well, but a front row forward can only do as much, and for mine, the Storm are obviously getting most of the raps outside of that, besides that Broncos game. But I think that Utuakamanu has really changed my mind of him as a player. And that's just what happens. You know, you've got to respect it when these players do change from the poor performances that they've shown in the past. Taintua Picky gets his ball at the 5, and he'll run it out to the right and step inside, and he'll be at the 15 on first tackle. Giovanni says, it was Arteta's birthday today, and Ryanair tweeted, penalty to the Warriors, you are spewing Tigers, because that was literally just inside the 20. Oh, I know, sorry, of course, it's offside, so it's just, it is a, were they inside the 20? Anyway, it's penalty. Ryanair tweeted he can finally celebrate something. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. Take that, Arsenal fans. Brighton says, you'd expect the opposite, right? Wright hasn't played NRL for a little while. You'd think he'd rush over and overthink it. Yeah, you would expect that Jock Madden would make the wrong decision there, but I didn't actually mind the decision. Walkinshaw says, I'm not Walkinshaw says, I'm not even a Warriors supporter, but I'm hoping that they put up a solid fight this year and take out a top 4 spot. They deserve a top 4 spot. Well, deserve's not the right word, but I hope they earn their top 4 spot. 1 second here, Jacob Laban gets his ball to the 25. A healthy Warriors, a successful Warriors is great for the NRL and great for the competition. So I absolutely agree with you. A good, big-time Warriors team is fantastic, and they would, if they made the grand final against the Bulldogs, it would be the most electric atmosphere. And they'll be Warriors, and that would expect that the Bulldogs are there too. But that's gonna be a penalty here to the Warriors. Yep, it's a penalty against Hugh Makasini for grabbing at his legs. That was on fit tackle too. You cannot be giving the Warriors these opportunities. Don't know why that Warriors fan's waving bye-bye. It's not a sin bin. It's just a penalty for not clearing the ruck. But I think we all would like to see the Warriors. The Warriors are very easy for people to talk shit to, but I think that people would love for the game, the Warriors, to be successful as well. Maybe not so much would people like to see them win the comp, but to be a really big-time team would be awesome for the game. 6 again here for the Warriors. Let's see this attack with Tanner Boyd and Luke Metcalf on show for the first time. Fisher Harris, he'll be at the 4 on first tackle. Wade Egan, he'll get it out to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd then to 12 Picky to... that is chance! No, clock start with a try. Sorry, I saw the 1 and I was like, my brain got confused just then. It was Taintor Picky who's wearing the 21 here today. And then Chance is wearing the 1, but Chance is playing centre and Taint's playing fullback. So I saw Taint run it, and then I saw the 1, and my brain immediately thought, oh, that's Taint or Picky. But no, it's Chance. Newell Clockstad with the try time in the corner. 4-0 here with the kick to come, and that was nice here from the Warriors. That was nice. And guess what? Full-time Stories is absolutely bang on. Says Tanner doesn't miss. Oh, my gosh, he's so right. The only thing I could see here being wide out is that he thinks that, okay, we've scored already in the first 10 minutes. We're going to win by 90. Maybe I forfeit the kick. Maybe. Maybe he forfeits the kick just to make a little bit more respectable leave of the Tigers, potentially speaking. So let's just wait and see. But he also could be ruthless. He's a ruthless man, the old Tanner Boyd. He's ruthless. Jim Jam says Tigers for the upset and happy to score. What are you basing that upset on? Your opinion's fine, but what are you basing the upset on? Are you a Tigers fan, or do you see something that I don't? Because I don't know how people could argue that the Tigers win this with the form of both these teams and with Jerome Luai out. Paintbrush is up the wires. Brighton says the seatbelt try celebration, don't mind it. Well, now guess what? Tanner Boyd doesn't miss. If Wires win by 3+, that'll be 4 or 13+. That'll be 4 13+s in a row. Yeah, I'm waiting to see them play the Panthers in the Storm, but it will be a very, very good start to their season. Unbelievable start. So Tanner Boyd here from the sideline. What a beautiful man he is. What a beautiful man the old Tanner Boyd is. 10 minutes gone in the first half, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Tanner Boyd has decided that he is going to forfeit this kick because it is going to be a blowout. So he has decided to forfeit the kick. I know I'm going to get it on Instagram. I know what's coming. I know what's coming. It's going to be a message from Hainsey. 100,000,000%. I guarantee you. And if he sends a voice message, which he will, I will play it here on the stream. I 1,000,000% know this cat is going to come in here and he's going to send me a voice message over that. He had sympathy. What a good guy. He had a sympathy, Brighton. He had sympathy. He was sympathising for the Tigers. So, Tigers fans, you should be very grateful that Tanner Boyd, he cares about you. You know, he just cares. He loves you. And he's just making sure that you're all right. Alrighty, so the Warriors up 4-0. Fisher Harris brings this out of the in-goal. And he'll bring it out to the 10 on first tackle. And Wade Egan goes out to Aaron Clark, and Aaron Clark then takes it to the 20 on second tackle. Full-time Story says, Tanner knows the Wars will pump Tigers. He's being kind, such a good bloke. Just unbelievable, incredible stuff, really. Get into him, hot dog boy. Well, I got into him last night for Sam Walker not missing his first kick. I think he missed his first 2 kicks, actually. So I got into it. That's why I fully expect. If he's watching this game, he might not even be watching this game. Might be working. So Taint to a Picky. He'll bring this ball out of the 45 on fit tackle. Jesse says, "Hey, Blaze, how's the week been, man? Got yourself a new backdrop?" Yeah, I'm in Bangkok, mate. I'm in Thailand now. I'm here until the 29th of April. So that's why we've got the new backdrop compared to when I'm in Vietnam. But Tigers slapped down to the 15 on first tackle. Big Homie says, Tigers to pull a huge rabbit out the hat tonight and give the Wires their first L. Why do you say that? Why do you say, unless you're a Tigers fan, why do you have belief in the Tigers over the Wires today? Third tackle now for the Tigers at the 35. I'm just encouraging people to explain their upset predictions. If it was Tuesday, he wouldn't miss it. Well, Jim, that's true. Yeah, it is true. If it was Tuesday, he wouldn't miss it. It was Monday. I've never seen him ever miss a conversion on a Wednesday. Never. Never, ever seen him miss. There's no way. He's 100%. Tanner got bored of aiming for the goals. He targeted the exact blade of grass and hit it. You see, you get it. You get it. So Dalmatines Lesniak gets that ball at the 15 and brings it out of the 30. Great run from him. It's the vibe of it, Your Honour. I love it, Big Homie Dave. I don't agree with the vibe, but good luck with the vibe, sir. Cowie says, I agree up the Tigers. Yeah, but that's because you're a Tigers fan, so I get why you're saying it. I'm just asking people who aren't Tigers fans why they're getting that vibe. GTR says, it'll be interesting to see how the Wires perform in away games. Well, they won last week against the Newcastle Knights, but that was against the Knights. What will be interesting is in 2 weeks' time when they take on the Storm in Amy Park, where they never beat the Storm. That will be the one that I'm looking for. Warriors, you can go. You can go and win, 5-0, 6... Well, I think it's 5-0 before that Storm game, but if you go and get pumped against the Storm, it's going to be a lot of... Tanner Boyd, good kick! And Tigers drop it, and it's might be knocked backwards, though. No, it is going to be a Tigers knock-on, so the Warriors get the ball to 15. Controversial. I'd like to see that again. Looked like it might have gone backwards there. Looked like it might have gone backwards, but what a kick here from Tanner Boyd. Oh my gosh, he doesn't miss. Tism says, please comment the game. Better than talking about the comments. Hey, why don't you get a job and watch the game by paying for it then? Because that's not how we do it here, man. We do watch the game. We do reply to the comments. And it is an interactive commentary here, man, where we bounce off of you guys and I tell you what's happening in the game. So if you're looking for a pure 80-minute commentary, maybe watch it on Sky or KO. But that's not what we do here, man. So appreciate you for tuning in. And if you enjoy the style that we go with, then great. But if you don't like it, well, then this isn't the place for you. Tanner Boyd, short ball into the line. They're going to be 5 metres out here from the line. 5 metres out. I don't think that's really too hard to understand either there, Tizim. So the Warriors, they'll be 4 metres away from the line now, second tackle. Cowie Fanotti says, nah, this game's rigged. Yeah, don't know about that one, man. Second tackle. They are 3 metres away from the line. Tanner Boyd at the back now to Luke Metcalf. Quick passing. Adam Pompey. Knock on here from the Tigers. Knock on from the Tigers, and it'll be a 6 again coming up for the Warriors after the play the ball. Heke Parangi says the Storm is the one win been for that for a long time. I think you're trying to say the Storm are the ones that you haven't won for a long time, so that is the one that you're looking at to prove that the Warriors are a big-time team this year. If you win that game, I'll be like, oof, okay. No, Brenton, no suggestions of emails, please. Please, I've had enough emails from one subscriber over the years to not have to go with it with more, please. I'm begging. So first tackle, and now second for the Warriors at the 5, Aaron Clark. Oh, there's a 6 again. I'm getting a vibe. Luke Mel. Oh, too easy for Jacob Laban. Right to the West. 8-0 with a kick to come. Too easy here for the Wires. Too easy here for the big old Wires. 8-0 with a kick to come. Jacob Laban will get the try. Tanner Boyd is on fire again, dude. He is on fire again. Jesse says, up the Wires. Sports License, which team from the top 4 currently are you the least convinced by? From the top 4 currently? Rabbitohs. But that's because they're in the top 4 as we speak. It's Warriors, Panthers, Rabbitohs, and Bulldogs. I have to say the Rabbitohs, but Bulldogs are a great shout too. No, you know what? No, I disagree with myself. I disagree with myself here. I will say it's the Bulldogs because they have not shown any improvement on attack. Their defense is still the best defense in the league. I will stand by that they are the best defense in the league, but their attack still looks dribble. It does. They've played 2 games so far. One was against the Dragons, where it was only 15-14 and controversial, should have been a draw. But at the end of the day, it was a win for them still. So they did not perform on the attack, but they definitely performed defensively. And then the second game that they played was the Raiders, and they performed defensively, but didn't perform on the attack at all. So I would say that the most unconvinced I am right now in regards to... But again, they're going to be a good team this year, but I need to see... Like the Warriors, my biggest question was about their attack. They're the same team as the Dogs last year, just with less. Tanner Boyd doesn't miss. Oh my gosh. See, he forfeits the previous kick to make it a little bit easier for the Tigers, and then he gets this kick because he's just like, I have to reassert the dominance. It's Tanner Boyd, man. He gets it. He just, unbelievable stuff. So it's 10-0 here for the Warriors, 17 minutes into the game. So yeah, I will go with the Bulldogs, but again, I still expect them to be a really strong team this year, and I do expect them to be in that top 4, and I do expect them to even potentially be in the top 2 because their defense does clearly matter, and their defense is unbelievable. But I just don't know if they're able to win a comp with this attack right now. You know, I know. You don't know that I know that you know. But it says up the wires, I know that. Amit, yes, I'll be live for the IPL tomorrow night, mate. I'll be live for the IPL tomorrow night after the 3 NRL games. We'll be there. We'll be there. First try, Ro Dada was... who was the first try again? First try was Charles Newell Clockstad. Of course he was. Of course he was. So first tackle for Fisher Harris, and he'll be at the 10. It is 10-0 to the Warriors after 17 minutes. Tanner plays Origin this year. You heard it here first. I don't think Billy goes away from Munster and Tom did. But I think that he might be in like the extended potential squad. Oh, what a run from Wade Egan to the 30 on third tackle. That's a penalty as well. Oh, Tigers, you're in a bit of trouble here today. You are in some trouble here today, and Ipi Koroisau could be in trouble if this is shoulder contact to the head. They've called, I think, high tackle here. I don't know, but it is... He's going down. It's mitigation. It's not a bin. It's a penalty. It's penalty sufficient. Am I cooked? Was that forward as? I thought that was flat. So Ricky, the reason why you relax, Ricky Bobby. The reason why the moderator's timed you out just then is because you like just spamming the chat. So you don't need to spam the chat. Just say up the wires. You can support your team and get around it in the game. But please don't spam just over and over again. There's plenty of people here that are also commenting. Pukana, if the Wars win. Sean, you know what's crazy? Second tackle here for the Warriors, and they'll be at the 35. When I was in New Zealand 2024 for the Titans-Warriors game, which we won, I went to the All Blacks Museum with Sam Jenko, who's one of our moderators here. Third tackle at the 25. Loved the experience. And I did a Pukana in front of something there, and everyone loved it, but there's people calling me a racist for it, and I was just like, what are you talking about? So I'm probably going to stick away from the damn well Pukana for now, but I was getting random comments of racism on my Instagram post, and I'm just like, it's supporting the culture, it's respecting the culture, or anything. There's nothing bad about it. I don't understand why anyone would have taken that as racism to do that. In New Zealand, because it wasn't a negative context at all. But the Warriors will kick this ball up, and that's not a good kick there from the Warriors at all. So that'll be 7 tackle. No, that's a penalty because Adam Pompey tackles him when he could have run it back quickly. Oh, he's in the bin for 10 minutes, Adam Pompey. That's just stupid. He's an idiot. I'm sorry, that's just stupid from Adam Pompey. He's deliberately held... I don't know if I would agree with this being a bin, but also he has deliberately held him back from trying to take a quick play at the 20. That's a pretty bold call here from Adam G, though, to bin him. So it's a bad kick there from Tanner Boyd, goes into the in goal, it's a 7 tackle set, and then Adam Pompey prevents him from running away to get to the 20 to play it quick. That's really stupid. That is pretty silly. That's really silly stuff there from Adam Pompey. So this is a bin. GTR says that's what Benji gets by leaving New Zealand. I think right now the commentary is trying to circle jerk Warriors fans by trying to say that that's a ridiculous call. I can understand what MG is saying. I think it's a bold call. Do I agree with it? Maybe not necessarily, but I can see where he's coming from. The commentary right now is trying to suggest like it's just a ridiculous call on all measures. But anyway, Tigers will be third tackle at the 40 on the Warriors side of the field. 20 minutes gone in the first half, 20 minutes to go. Hit that like button and subscribe. 60 likes, let's go. Hit the button, exactly right, Shauno. So Tigers, they'll be at the 38 on 4 tackle. Rehan Matthews says, if you can't do the Picana, you have to do the Munaway. But I do like doing that. Like, I don't do it, I don't think, correctly, but it's like this, isn't it? Something like that? I think it's something like that. So they go out to the left-hand side of the Tigers, and they'll kick it down into the 5. Turova coming through. I think that's a knock-on from Turova. Yeah, changeover. So Warriors bought the 10. Big Homie Dave says, the people crying racist over Buchanan are chronically online anyway, Mr. Streamer. I'd take that with a huge grain of salt. Oh, no, every Warriors fan really, I think it was just an idiot. Every Warriors fan really said there's no problem with it at all. But it's just like when you are in like the public light, per se, and you do anything, like there's always going to be those kind of clowns. Sports Life says, what do you think of Dan Atkinson? I think he's way better than Kyle Flanagan. Well, I said he was my breakout player for the Dragons this year. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious that Dan Atkinson for mine is a better player than... Oh, that's a penalty to the Warriors, yeah. Silly from the Tigers. Very silly stuff there from the old Tigers, and the Warriors will get a penalty at their own 10, get them out of trouble. To be fair, I've seen a lot worse calls than Rugby. Yeah, 100% Jesse. They're going to challenge this here, the Tigers. It's a bold call to challenge this 21 minutes in. Yeah, I've seen a way worse calls, Jesse. Max Watson says, I back that call, actually. Tigers player has to try and get around all those Warriors players to get moving. The getting around the Warriors players isn't the problem. It's the making the tackle from Adam Pompey that is the problem. So referee on field's called tackle complete. But hands all around the ball. Someone who comes over the top and then the ball comes out. It's going to be a penalty. You're not going to overrule this. This is a penalty and you've lost your challenge, Tigers. This is a silly challenge here from the Tigers. Yeah, and then Fainu comes across the ball there and it's just silly. It's silly from Samwala Fainu and it's silly from Api Koroisau to challenge that. Unsuccessful. Yogus' conversion rate is 74%. Why does Boyd get the never miss status? What was his rate last season? No, so back in the days when he was at the Titans, mate, he was a very, very good kicker early doors, and he just wouldn't miss. Things have... I'm going to hypothetically speak here because obviously Tanner is 100% conversion rate unless he forfeits the kick. So I'm hypothetically speaking here, but since his Titans days, he hasn't been as guaranteed as a goal kicker, and even towards the back end of his Titans days as well. But no, it was just something that we obviously I know Tan from his Titans days, and I wanted to support him, and I was his biggest supporter at the Titans. You know, we would speak after every game, and he'd be quite emotional about what he was going through and how the fans were treating him, and I would defend him online, backed him into the end of the world. If you followed me on Instagram, you would have known. So I'll just always support that man. I'll always back him in. I know what he went through at our club, and I know things that the public don't know, and I'm just super happy that he's able to shine here at the Warriors, and I'll always maintain what I was saying there in regards to not missing, just to keep on the support. So the Warriors now get this ball to 38. Obviously, I'm very well aware of the game, but sometimes we'll do jokey things like that. So Luke Metcalf is going to kick that ball up, but again, he's 100%, never misses, and the only time that you see the 2 points not come is because he feels sorry for the other team. So first tackle for the Tigers at the 5. Max Watson says, yeah, the commentary were acting like the Tiger player wasn't running to the 20. I don't even know how they could say that. Of course, that's what he was trying to do. Yeah, I agree. Second tackle here at the 8 here for the Tigers. They're not really doing too... Oh, no, the Warriors will get the ball after a knock-on from the Tigers. 0 tackle to 10. They're down a man, and they could go up by 13 right now. They go out right-hand side. They've actually got numbers for a team that's down, which is ridiculous. James Fisher-Harris at the 3. I don't know why they went straight. But it'll be first tackle here for the Warriors after the knock-on. And Wade Egan, he'll give it out to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd short to Jacob Laban, and they'll be at the 8. For my Supercoach team, can we please get the ball to Halasima? Please, I'm begging. Out to Tanner Boyd on the left, then off to Metcalf, Halasima. Oh, big contact there, and he's still going. And it'll be 8 metres out. Wow, that was huge contact. Yeah, exactly right, Sports Live. Boyd never misses. So it'll be Metcalf off to Wade Egan, Aaron Clark. He'll be 15 metres away, 4 tackle. It's going to be hard to score with a man down, but the Warriors are all over it. Tanner Boyd at the 10. He kicks his ball through. Sit. Drop out. Good kick. Good kick there from Tanner. It'll be a dropout. Jesse says, I was around watching you defend Tanner. They were always blaming him as the half for the shortcomings of the club overall, and it's good to see him having success. Absolutely. Absolutely. I copped a lot of criticism for my defence of Tanner. Whilst I understood why people were not happy, it wasn't just Tanner's situation, but the Titans are the Titans when it comes to halfbacks. But yeah, I copped a lot of criticism. He knew that too. But at the end of the day, I was rather to support him and support his progress than to let him be berated and his family berated too, mind you. But not as much as other clubs, but it happened. Second tackle here at the 10 for the Warriors, but it also wasn't even necessarily Titans fans. The Titans fans disagreed with him as a player, but it was a lot of opposition fans with some pretty significant hatred for him. Third tackle now at the 5, and Mitchell Barnett's going to roll this ball back to Wade Egan, then off to Aaron Clark. Jeez, I called him for a try. I'd love to see him get over. Wade Egan, quick ball, out to take to a picky shot quickly, over the sideline from the Warriors. They are really emphasising this right-hand side attack going up against Sunda Torova and Luke Laualiti, so they must be really trying to target their defensive side. but that will go out at the 5, so they'll come out to the 10. Bit of a late hit there. Lucky they don't get penalised. Young One says, Tigers playing good, can't watch the game. Not really, bro. Not really. The Warriors are down a man right now, and they're the ones with the ball in the attack and 10. Doing a punt is all good. Yeah, I know, sir, but sometimes you just need to be aware of how people do react online, so that's why I do say things like that. So first tackle here at the 25. Too fast by the wires. Yeah, realistically, when you're down a man, you don't need to go crazy like they just did. You just need to kind of get through your set, soak up the time, and then when you get your man back, you'll be sweet. They rush out of the line quickly there. That's a mistake, I think, a knock on from the Tigers. No, they didn't touch it, so third tackle at 35. They're very lucky. Young One says, a Big Homie says they are 10-0 down and can't hold the ball to save their lives, but other than that, they're coming up page. 6 again here for the Tigers. Well, that's huge, being a man up. Kai Pearce-Paul, you need to see some big things on this set, but Aaron Clark really comes into Terrell May there. He gets away from the tackle, and then Terrell May gets taken on the 45. Big contacts in this game, though. There are some heavy-hitting contacts so far in this one, especially in the last 5 or so minutes. Intercept! Oh! Dallin Watene-Zelezniak so close with the intercept. Adam Tui's going to play this on here. So it's going to be 0 tackle for the Tigers at the 45. Oh, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak so close to an intercept. But instead it will be a knock on. And Tigers on 0 tackle. Now first tackle at the 45 on the Warriors side of the field. Unless this Tigers doing Tigers things. Look, they haven't been awful, but they just haven't done anything so far. And this Warriors team is a good Warriors team, but they just haven't done anything with this man advantage for the last 6 or 7 minutes or so. How long ago was that been? I think probably about 6 or 7 minutes. We've seen quite a few sets in between. Adam Dilley runs into the line, and he should just go down with this. No, he gets the offload away to Sione Fainu. And he'll be third tackle at 22. Pompey cost us 10 points. Yeah, I feel like the Warriors probably would have scored again over those next couple of sets had he not done that. I know they were going to get a 7 tackle set of the 20, but still. Tigers 5 meters out from the line, 4 tackle. 5 metres out, Kotoi Sau, big chance. They've got the numbers advantage. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak runs out of the line, actually probably saves them. Oh my gosh, Dream Buller 1 metre out, probably saved them there. It could have either been an easy try for the Tigers or it makes a massive move, but he made a massive move. 1-on-1 out here, that's going to go over the dead ball line. Really good defence there from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to not even go up for it, but just kind of stand his ground. And then Tavana couldn't pick the ball up out of the air, and it bounces over the dead ball line for a 7 tackle set. Really good stuff there from the Warriors, considering they're down a man. Jam Smith, the Warriors lineup, who's starting? In what position are you asking for? If you're asking the halves, it's Metcalf and Tanner Boyd. Metcalf 6, Tanner Boyd 7. So first tackle now for the Warriors, and they'll be at the 40 through Taintua Picky. They'll be at the 40. Harder and index. Laban's actually having a really good game here. He scored a try as well. 41 on the Harder and index. Fisher Harris 37. Jackson Ford 37. Then Alex 12 36 and Terrell May 31. Again, the Warriors are looking real solid here, lads. 42. Tanner Boyd. He's going to step inside. Oh, he nearly breaks away. Gets the offload away. And they'll be at the 30. What a run from Tan, though. Third tackle. He's had a couple of bad moments in this game, but also that was really good. Fourth tackle. Like, Tan's been good in this game, but he's had a couple of... The kick that ended up being a sin bin, but the kick into the in goal wasn't fantastic. That's a good kick there from Tanner. Knocked back from the Tigers, they're going to say. Very lucky. Tigers are getting super lucky in regards to a couple of knockback calls. I agree that it was knocked back, but could have easily been forward too. RTS to England. The Waz sending him off with a shit would be scenes, and in no way a Waz fan bloke deserves to be sent off a champion. Is he now in the conversations to go to the Super League, is he? Sean Knight's prediction for next game. I'm leaning Dolphins, but it's such a hard game to predict. But no Payne Haas and Reynolds back in, which I believe slows the team down a bit. I think this Dolphins team should be too fast for them. If the Dolphins are anything half decent, they really should be winning this game. I know that the Broncos beat the Storm last week, but again, they've had 2.5 games of footy that's been abhorrent and 1.5 that's been really good when they beat the Storm last week. I don't think they're back in form just yet. If they go into it again tonight, then they'll be back in form, but I'm probably going to lean just for the Dolphins. That's a big kick, but it's going to hit the post, so it's going to end up being a really good kick. It could have gone out for a 7 tackle set, but Watene-Zelezniak brings it back to the 20, and he's lost the ball. He has lost the ball. Adam Pompey comes back onto the field. But that's just silly from Watene-Zelezniak. You just got to go through your sets, dude. Knocking the ball on there. Not even first tackle. He's just wild. Naces Cantana, I've got for a meat pie at $3. Well, the Tigers are going to go on the attack, but now the Warriors do have their full 13 back on the field. 10 minutes to go here, the first half. 30 minutes to go. 30 minutes gone. 10 minutes to go. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Broncos Dolphins right after this. Wakefield. Oh, he's signed for Wakefield. Has he actually signed for Wakefield? The money says RTS should have went back to the Roosters to reunite again like it's 2013. Yeah, definitely not the right answer there. They've got Nwanga Tawase and they've got Daniel Tupou, and they've got James Tedesco in the three positions that he would like, and then in the centres, Billy Smith and Robert Toyer aren't getting moved out, so you just definitely know. Big Hummy Dave says NRL will be joining his wise mate Jazz Tavanga at Wakefield. Is this confirmed, or is this a rumour? So the Tigers here, first tackle, 10 metres away from the line. Show us some attack right now. You're not with Jerome Luai. He is not playing this game, which is going to be hard against this Warriors defence, but 6 again for the Tigers, and it'll be first tackle at 10. Oh, it is a done deal. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Happy Korowi's out. He'll give it out the back to Jock Madden. And then off to Samuel Faianu. And Faianu is 8 metres away from the line. Second tackle. Oh, he's lost the ball. No, it is a penalty. Oh, Happy's trying to say bin. You wish it's a bin. But it is a strip. Penalty to the Tigers 10 metres away. To be fair, Warriors, you actually probably enjoy the Tigers have the ball here because you've already shown that you can attack, but you want to keep this defense really solid, and this is the best way to see solid defense. Defending your own line from inside the 10. Korowi South the back here to Jock Madden. And Kai Pearce-Paul, he'll be 5 metres away on second tackle. Rolls it back to Korowi South. He gives it all the way to Jock Madden. Quick run out of the line. They've got numbers, but the Tigers step back on the inside there through Makasini, which is interesting. Third tackle now 5 metres away. They actually had numbers there too. Don't know if they would have scored the try, but they did have the more numbers on that left edge. Warriors defense is just really constricting, man. It's really good. 4 tackles, 6 again here for the Tigers. I hate this part of the game where it's just teams will get numerous 6 agains over and over and over again in the defensive 10 or the attacking 10. So realistically, Tigers, you have to be scoring here with how much ball you've now had in the attacking line. They go out to the left here. Dream Buller. Oh, Buller taken down. Tanner Boyd scramble defense. Gets him at the 3. That was very close. Laulali'i off to Jock Madden. Then off to Sione Finau at beside Korowi Sau. And Korowi Sau stabs. He offloads it straight to Luke Metcalf. And the Warriors defense comes up trumps again. And Luke Metcalf brings the ball out to the 30. Look, I get taking some risks here against this Warriors defense, but obviously that wasn't the play. And Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Dewey, great tackle here. Takes him back about 3 metres. The defense is amazing. Brighton, I agree. Dam says, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck will depart the NRL at the end of the year with the New Zealand Warriors back putting pen to paper on a 2-year deal with Wakefield Trinity. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck brings it out to the 42. I do think it's time. So what, will they then go, maybe Loffy is going to be their winger from next year then? So Tanner will kick this ball. It was outside the 40, so it's not going to be 40-20, but it's a really good kick regardless. Where Dream Buller grabs it at the 5, and he'll take it to the 8. That was a great kick from Tan. Also, Willie Peters is confirmed to Papua New Guinea Chiefs coach. Willie Peters. He's an ex-Cowboy? Is he Was he an ex-Cowboy? Am I thinking of the right person here? So I'll give it off to Samuel Faianu. And Faianu will be at the 45 on 4 tackle. And just a bit of a reminder as well, the Warriors have been doing their best work late in games. Like, they've been putting scores past teams in second halves rather than first halves. Oh, Dewey! Dewey's away here! Dewey's away here! Oh, he gets it out of the wing, and the Tigers will score through Falatino Tavana. Well, I called him on debut for a try, and he will score. 10-4 here with a kick to come. The Tigers will do it through Adam Dewey breaking through, and he gets the ball over to Tavana. So I'm happy I got 1 try scorer so far. We got 1. Falatino Tavana on debut will get over the line. 7 minutes left of the first half, and the Tigers are back in the game. Yep, current KR coach. But he did originally play like the Cowboys back in his day, yeah? Oh, Willie Peters was a Rabbitoh and a Dragon, mainly a Rabbitoh, fair enough. I don't know who I'm thinking about then. Thinking about somebody else then. So, Falatino Tavana with the try. And that's great work there from Dewey. He just absolutely palms off of Luke Metcalf. Poor defense there from Metcalf. And Tigers within 6, potentially 4. It wasn't even a amazing ball to Tavana, but Tavana did good work there to grab that ball and not knock it on. Willie Mason played with the Cowboys. Definitely not thinking about Willie Mason. And I wouldn't even really consider Willie Mason for Cowboys. I'd definitely more so think of him as a Bulldog, and then, maybe not. I think he only played like 1 year at the Cows, didn't he? Adam Dewey doing a Wolverine and recovering that fast from a hamstring injury. What a pass. What a pass. Well, the pass isn't actually incredible, but Tavana does a lot of work to bring this in. Oh, maybe I am thinking of Willie Tonga. Yeah, probably, Jono. Probably the one. Yeah, the pass was very knock-onable. But either way, Tavana does good work to bring it in. They kind of look the same. No, I would assume I'm thinking of Willie Tonga. Sen says, Willie Peters played for South St. George Royal. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about Willie Tonga, lads. Great for Tavana, but also great for my fancy because I held Dewey. Good stuff. So Jock Madden here, he'll be your kicker today. And Jock Madden should really be able to get this. And should miss it, though. Will miss the kick. So we'll say 10-4 here to the Warriors with 6 minutes to go the first half. It wasn't too heavy of a kick there, but he does miss it. Tonga was a gun, yeah. Yeah, he was a gun. But like I said, if you're a Warriors fan, your best work this season has really actually come late in games. Like, again, the Roosters game was probably your biggest lead at halftime, and then you still doubled your score. The Knights game, you definitely were better in the second half, and the Raiders game, it was like tied 6-6 at halftime, and then it ended up being 40 points to 6 in the second half. Something like that. So the Tigers will receive this ball at the 10. And Royce Hunt, massive connection there with Mitchell Barnett. Wowee. First tackle for the Tigers. Good morning, says everyone liked the video. 350 viewers and only 74 likes. Smack the like button. Second tackle now for the Tigers, and they're going to be at the 24. 5.5 minutes left in this first half. Justin Thurston. Do you mean Jonathan Thurston? That's a knock-on from the Tigers. And the Warriors are back on the attack through Jackson Ford. 13 metres out, 0 tackle. That is the worst thing that you can have after points. Tigers then will get the ball back because nobody's at to play the ball. Very silly from the Warriors. You get the chance after a knock-on after points from the Tigers, and you quite literally immediately hand the ball straight back to the Tigers. Very silly stuff there from the Warriors. They've got to wake up, man. You haven't won this game just yet. You've been the better team across the 35 minutes so far, but you haven't won this game by any means just yet. Still only a 6-point game. Alex 12 and Samuel Faiuni. They've got the momentum right now, the Tigers. And that would have been killing and crushing of the momentum, but you've just handed the ball straight back to them. Alex 12 at the 40 on fit tackle. Pompey make up for getting sent off score. Well, they gave the ball straight back to the Tigers. They're not scoring right now. And that'll be... Oh, Tigers maybe knock this ball backwards. They're going to score again. That's on you, Waz. I'm sorry, Waz, but that's on you. You got the ball after a knock-on there from the Tigers. You got the ball back, and then you've allowed them to run 80 metres off the back of that, and it's going to be a tight game at 10-10. It's going to be a tight... That's such a disappointing 2 minutes. This has been such a really disappointing 5 minutes here from the Warriors. Because you had this game well and truly, and then you've just handed the game back here to the Tigers. It's going to be a tight game at 10-10. It's actually wild. Like, the way the Tigers have played this half, there is no world that anyone should be arguing the Tigers should be at 10-10. The Warriors have been all over them in this game, and they've just literally handed them back the game, and now it's about to be 10-10. So Kai Pearce-Paul will be the try scorer. Unless he touch... Oh, maybe not. This could be a knock-on here. This may be a knock-on. Let's see this again first. We need to see this on slow-mo. This may be a knock-on both ways, but there could be a knock-on here from the Tigers. I would need to see it again, though. At the money says, why do hookers always leave their mark and not be right behind the player? Makes no sense at all. Well, that was it was a different play because the Tigers knocked it on, and then 1 second here. Let's just see Tavana. There's no way you can confirm this. Surely this has to be bunker. So he's saying that it definitely touches the Tiger, but does it hit the Warriors player, or does it just go straight into his own chest there? Well, this angle's not going to show us anything. Well, Kevin Walters saying surely it should be a try. Well, that's just not true. It could be a try, but I wouldn't say surely. This may not even actually touch Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. This could actually be fine. I don't know if there's no way you should say surely from Kevin Walters, but they are going to say try confirmed. They are going to say try confirmed. So they're saying that it touches the Tiger first, but then goes off into his own body. So it's about to be 10-10. Hey, it's Frozen Part 2, Return to the Buffer. Are we frozen? Are we on the stream? Are we frozen right now? And they get the kick. So it is 10 points to 10 with 2 minutes and 55 seconds to go here in the first half. Is the stream going fine, lads? We haven't had a single problem in Thailand so far. Oh, it's fine now. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So 2:55 to go in the first half, and it is 10 points to 10. Warriors, you had a fantastic chance after the Tigers knocked it on, but then you give the ball straight away off not having a man at mark at the play the ball, and they run 80 metres and score. Great to see another close one tonight. I also want to see if Bronx are still in top gear in the next game or if they went back to their previous lackluster form. Yeah, a lot to prove there. So if Tigers now will be at the 15, at the 15 first tackle. First tackle, and they'll go out to Sonia Tarova, and Tarova will be at the 20 on second tackle now. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Tackle opposition 20 times the Wires, 13 times the Tigers. They really went into their own shell after leading 10-0. They've gone into their own little shell here, the Warriors. They haven't looked as amazing as they did originally. But again, their second halves have been when they've been pulling away teams. Yeah, Haas being out is a massive loss for the Broncos there, Darian. That's why I've actually decided to go the Dolphins rather than the... Oh, Dream Buller nearly gets through there with the 40 on fit tackle. That's why I've decided to sneak the Dolphins, but that's a hard game to tip. Jock Madden puts that one up here. They've been killing him in this area. That's gone backwards here, luckily for the Warriors. And Adam Pompey. Oh! They're going to say this is knock on. I'd challenge this. Falatino Tavana's been really good here tonight for the Tigers. They may not even challenge this. So Roger... Well, you could argue there was a knock on there from the Tigers, but I would have probably challenged that if the Warriors. I don't know if they would have overturned it, but I think it would have been inconclusive. But the Tigers are going to go back on the attack. They could lead at half-time here. They could lead at half-time if they score right now. They're 10 metres away. They were down 10-0 literally 5 minutes ago. So Adam Dewey, 10 metres away. Api Koroisau, he'll get it off to Dewey. Dewey steps, and he's going to be 5 metres out from the line. First tackle. Warriors, you need to come up with your best defensive effort right now because the momentum is absolutely with the Tigers. It would have been so different if you just had a man at the play the ball. Jock Madden off to Alex Twell, and Twell's now going to be 10 metres away, third tackle. 10 metres away, Koroisau, 52 seconds left here in the first half. Sione Fainu, he will be 4 metres out on third tackle. 45 seconds left. And 6 again, so they're just going to end the half here in the attacking line. Royce Hunt! I think he scored! Oh no, he's lost it over the line. Oh, Royce Hunt has lost this over the line. Adam G's right there and he's saying this is a no try. Other Bunny says, the more I think about the Dolphins game against the Bronx, the more I am confident in the Dolphins in a sense that Haas is injured, which is a huge loss. Yes. So, Royce Hunt coming down here. No, that's fine. He scored. He hasn't lost it at all. The Tigers are going to lead 16 points to 10 at halftime. And this is the problem. The reason why teams, like the whole momentum, this is 100% a try here for Royce Hunt. He's put this ball down. There's no loss of the ball there. I don't know what Adam G's seen there at all. So it's going to be a try here for the Tigers. They're going to be up 16-10 with a kick from right in front. Warriors, you had a chance to hit straight back after the error from the Tigers. Immediately after points, they knock the ball on their own 20. You then bring the ball, and then nobody is at the play the ball. You're up 10-6 at this point. 10-4 at this point. And then no one's to play the ball. The Tigers get it back. You don't punish them. And then because you didn't punish them, they punish you. And they've gone 80 metres and scored. And then they've immediately got the ball back, and now they're scoring again to lead 14-10, now 16-10 at half time. The Warriors fell asleep this last 15 minutes, 10 minutes. The Warriors have completely fallen asleep, and they are now going to be down 16-10. Darian says the Wars are not wiring. Young one says, I feel like my dad in the 70s listened to the radio commentary. Yeah, that's what we do. That is what we do, man. But Jock Madden, he will convert the kick, and half-time, it is 16-10 to the Tigers. What have you just done, Warriors? What have we just seen? If we win from behind, who shows how good the Warriors are? Oh, well, I think you'd be super concerned with how that first half just played out. It's old demons creeping in here to the Warriors. It's old demons. Obviously, if you win, but again, you're playing a Tigers team that has no Jerome Luai right now. They've got Jock Madden and Dewey in the halves. They've got a debut winger who scored a try and has been really good here today in Valentino Tavana. He's definitely had, I think it's Rogers' side. He's definitely had Rogers' number pretty well. He's had Rogers' number pretty well there. Look, at the end of the day, yes, there's a couple of Warriors players out, but you've also got Metcalf back in. This is... Remember when I said at the start of the stream, where the games that you think that the Warriors are guaranteed to win, and I do still think the Warriors win this game, but the games you think the Warriors are guaranteed to win are the ones that you usually tip against them. And that's a historical thing. That's not a this year thing. But this is concerning as we speak. But there's a whole 40 minutes to play. Your best halves have definitely been your second halves. This is the first time you've been down at halftime, down in a game throughout this season so far. It's definitely a frustrating finish here because again, with 8 minutes to go in the first half, you were up 10-0 and you defended your line absolutely through the sin bin of Adam Pompey, and now you've given up a try to Valentino Tavana, Kai Pearce-Paul, and Royce Hunt in the space of 8 minutes there. And in that space of 8 minutes, you had an opportunity to score yourself, but you didn't have a man to play the ball. So it's very frustrating if you're a Warriors fan for sure, but this does kind of give you that same sense of why you err on the side of caution with the Warriors. But again, I do think that the Warriors win this game. However, that was a very worrying finish. But all right, let's get into the stats here at halftime. Obviously, hit that like button and subscribe. The Warriors at 10, the Tigers 16. This is at Go-Media Stadium in Auckland. The tries, Chance Newell-Klukstad and Jacob Laban for the Warriors, with Valentino Tavana, Kai Pearce-Paul and Royce Hunt scoring for the Tigers. 2 from 3 conversions with Jock Madden getting them for the Tigers, and 1 from 2 for Tanner Boyd, with Adam Pompey being in the bin at the 18th minute. Now, team stats. Possession-wise, 51% possession to the Tigers, 49% possession to the Warriors. Time in possession, 13 minutes and 33 seconds for the Tigers, 12 minutes 53 here for the Wars. That's 25, that's just over 26 minutes. It's fine. It's a solid amount of time possession overall for the game on a rugby league sense. And then completion rate, 80% is a minimum that you're looking for. The Warriors are at 82%, 19 from 23. That is good. That is solid. They're not making a great deal of errors. Still a couple, but they're not making a great deal of errors. Whilst the Tigers are at 76% for 16 from 21, which is not the marker of 80%, but it's also not too far away. So it's not too disappointing, but it's not quite the marker of 80%. Now, in regards to the runs, 77 runs for 668 run meters for the Warriors, 82 runs for 725 run meters for the Tigers, most of which would have been really coming in that last 10 minutes because they didn't really show anything for the first 30. But that last 10 minutes, these are where all these runs have come from for the Tigers. So on a 10 meters on average per run that you're looking for, 77 to 668, effectively they're 100 meters, the Warriors, behind the 10 meters on average per run that you'd be looking for, whilst the Tigers, 82 for 725, are also basically 100 meters behind on the 10 meters on average per run that you're looking for. So realistically, if you try to 725 for the Tigers to 668 for the Warriors, if you give the extra 5 runs to the Warriors, it's now gone down to 81 for 711 here for the Tigers. You probably are seeing there or thereabouts the same amount of run meters for both these sides. So the Warriors, despite looking the clear better team for the first 30 minutes, this last 10 minutes has been so dominant for the Tigers that it's really evening out those stats. They're leading them on the pure metric, but if you try to compare with the extra runs, it's pretty much equal. And the post-contact meters is 226 there for the Tigers, 208 there for the Warriors. You give them those extra, now it's 5, 82 for 725. You give them those extra 5 runs, it's probably the same as well. So the run meters and the post-contact meters are effectively the same right now with a similar amount of ball. And then you go to the line breaks, 2-2. It's the same. Tackle breaks is 30 for the Tigers, 11 for the Warriors. So defensively, you're not defending at the moment. You aren't actually looking that great defensively at the moment, Warriors. 30 missed tackles in the first half is insane. That is insane stuff. That is insane stuff. 30 tackle breaks for the Tigers is wild. And then 11 tackle breaks there for the Warriors. Now, average set distance. This is crucial here. For 25 metres and under, you turn the stream off. It's pathetic. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. The Warriors are at 29.68. So they are in the disgusting category. They're not getting to the marker of 35. They're not even getting to the underwhelming category of 30. 29.68 is extremely underwhelming, and you're really concerned about that. You need to improve that drastically in the second half. You need to be at a minimum 37. You need to improve this by at least 8 metres going into this second half, because that is really poor as we speak. But the Tigers, they're also not doing too crash hot. They're at 34.53 in the underwhelming category. But if you remove this last 10 minutes, that 10 minutes, they probably were more so situated around the 27 to 29 marker as well in the first 30 minutes. And then that last 10 minutes has brought them up to 34.53, which is meaning that they're probably in the last 10 minutes having good 40-metre plus sets. That's upping those averages massively, especially with those long run plays. So a couple of sets in those last 10 got them a good 80 metres, 70 metres, 60 metres kind of deal, which has taken them out of the discussing category. I wouldn't have even been surprised the Tigers were at 26. I wouldn't have. But at the end of the day, the Tigers are in the underwhelming category on the precipice of marker, and then the Warriors are on the precipice of underwhelming, but they're in the disgusting category there. And then you go to the average play the ball speed. Very slow from both these teams. So 3.19 and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And then 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Warriors are at 3.8, which is extremely slow, and 3.76 for the Tigers, which is slow. Now, it's effectively the same, but you do have to separate to show kind of what you're looking at overall. And now it's 3.79 for the Warriors, so they're back into that slow category. But they're basically at the same play the ball speed. It's not fast here at all. This is very generic play the ball speed. It's not even generic, sorry. It is slow from both of these teams. Now, the offloads is 4-1 to the Warriors, so at least getting that ball away. Then you go to the force dropouts, 1-0 for the Warriors. Kick defusal is 60% for the Tigers, 0% here for the Wars. That's wild. And then the effective tackle percentage, and this is what I'm saying, your defense isn't actually that great today. Now, this is on an individual level, not a collective level. Across the first 30 minutes, your defense was actually impeccable, but you are still missing a ridiculous amount of tackles. It's not even 30 anymore. It's 32. So 85% and below is disgusting. 85 to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% above is exactly what you're looking for. That's incredible. The Warriors are at 83.57%. They are in the disgusting category again here. That is really poor. These stats are also looking very similar to what happened in that Roosters game, despite the fact that they ended up winning that game by a lot and were up by a decent bit at halftime. But this is very similar. So that will give you a bit of confidence, but this is not good at the moment. 173 tackles made for a whopping 32 missed tackles. That is insane. And then you've got 2 ineffective tackles. So the average amount of missed tackles in a half is 15 to 17. You're at 32. You have basically doubled the average. You've doubled the average of a lower average. You've gone over the average of 15, and you've doubled the average of 16, and you're only 2 away from the highest average of 17, doubling it. That's how bad this is right now in regards to missed tackles. They're not connecting with them. And then the ineffective tackles of 2, this is actually really good. 5 to 7 is the average. They're at 2, so 3 underneath the average. So 34 bad tackles overall is really bad in the first half, but your ineffective tackles are actually amazing. But your missed tackles are just absolutely diabolical. And then you go to the Tigers, completely the opposite. 90.45% is incredible. They are a whopping 7% above where the Warriors are at currently. 180 tackles made, so 7 more tackles made than the Warriors, with 11 missed tackles. So they're 4 underneath that average of 15 and 17. And then 8 ineffective tackles, which is 1 above the average of ineffective tackles of 5 to 7. So the missed tackles is amazing here for the Tigers, but the ineffective tackles is really poor. Whilst for the Warriors, their missed tackles is absolutely horrific, and then the ineffective tackles is amazing. So it's completely the opposite here. But 11 missed tackles is the key stat there, compared to the 32. So you've got 19 bad tackles from the Tigers across 7 more tackles made. And then for the Warriors, you've got 15 more bad tackles from the Tigers with 7 less tackles made. So the individual stats right now are not favouring the Warriors at all, and they need to improve this drastically in this second half. Now, negative play, 3 and under is really good, 4 to 6 is average, and 7 above is really bad. The Warriors are at 5 errors, so they're on the average there. The Tigers are at awful, of 7. They're in the really bad category. So it's crazy that they're up 16-10 right now, despite the fact that they're making a lot of errors in this game with 7 compared to the Warriors 5. It's not too far off, but it's still 2 extra errors. Every error is very important. Penalties conceded, 4 against the Tigers, 3 against the Warriors, so you can't have any complaints about the referee so far. Ruck infringements is 2-2. For the game, inside 10 metres is 3-0 against the Warriors, and the one sin bin for the Warriors, but the one sin bin did make sense there. So you look across these stats, you say the Tigers are winning the defensive game as we currently speak, especially in regards to the missed tackles. The penalties are even. The 6 agains are slightly in favour there of the Warriors with those inside 10 metres. You cannot complain about that sin bin. The offloads in favour of the Warriors. The play the ball speed is very slow from both these teams. It's very equal in regards to run meters of post contact and all run meters if you equal out the amount of runs. And the average set distance is not great for both these teams here. The completion rate's at least better there for the Warriors, but overall the Warriors have got to do a lot of soul searching here at halftime. They shouldn't be down in this game. They really, really shouldn't be. They were convincingly in the lead 10-0 and holding out well, and then have gone to sleep for the last 10 minutes there. They were up 10-0 and now they're down 16-10, and it's kind of on their back, because whilst that was a great try from Adam Dewey to Falatino Tavana, who grabbed that ball on the wing, that was great and well earned, but then immediately after they score that try, they knock the ball on the first or second tackle inside their own half. You never want to make a mistake after points. You want to use that as a foundation set to continue to build. Platform is probably what I should say. So they then knock the ball on. Jackson Ford makes 20 metres, and then nobody's following him up for the play the ball. Tigers get the ball straight back. You don't capitalise on that. You don't force the punishment on the error, and then because you don't capitalise and force the punishment, the Tigers say, well, screw you, I'm going to capitalise and force the punishment, and then they run 80 metres and score, and then they go and score again. So you've just probably changed. You may have scored, but let's hypothetically say you do score on that attacking set 20 metres out, 0 tackle. Hypothetically you score. You've turned a 18-point swing where you would have been up by 6. No, sorry, you would have been up by 12, and now you're down by 6. So do you understand what we're saying there in regards to the 18-point swing? Those little moments matter. They're so crucial. And the Tigers would not be leading 16-10 if you had have just played through your set just then. So that's why we're so heavily critical of it. And I'd do the same. I'd be flipping out more so if it was my team. But that's why we're so heavily critical of that really small moment that ended up being massive. Kings is not a full-strength Tigers team. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's why the Warriors really shouldn't be losing this. Tigers top 8 this year, I think that's a bit of a cook take. Payne says, was Porter, where's Metcalf and Maya? Yeah, he's not been playing too well right now. Yogi says, Warriors missed a challenge opportunity last week too. Asleep on the challenge advantage. A good challenge use is worth at least 6 or 8 points in a game. Well, I don't know what the 6 or 8 points... I don't necessarily agree with the 6 or 8 points in a game. It depends on the context of what the challenge is. And also, what we talked about last week, I'm not sure what the reference is to last week, but I probably would have challenged the Roger Tuivasa-Sheck knock-on just then. But I can understand why the referees called it as a knock-on. I think it may have actually just gone backwards, but they didn't challenge it. But I don't know how the 6 to 8, what the 6 to 8 points references. Missing 30 is wild considering the last 2 weeks. Yeah, 32 missed tackles. Xavier says, good way to end the half of the Tigers. Absolutely. You know, the Warriors right now, you can't, if you're a Warriors fan, you can understand where I'm coming from. The Warriors right now are giving you that same sense of when they should win a game, when they really just should be dominating a game, they lose a game. So hopefully they prove that wrong and they go and kill it in the second half, because again, we'll go quickly over here to their previous few weeks, compare their halftime score to the full-time score, because the second half has definitely been there better. The halftime score of the Roosters game was 22-6 the Warriors, so that was good. They finish off with 42-18. So the second half, they gave a couple of tries there still, though. But again, the second half was really good. The Raiders game on the other side, they were 6-6 at half time, and the Warriors won 40 points to 6. So that one is in the trajectory of what I'm saying here. And then the Knights game at half time, they were up 18 points to 6 and scored 20 points to win 38-12 in the second half. Their second halves have been a lot better. But right now, you're just fuming that you're even in this situation, because you shouldn't be in this situation, but you are in this situation. So you need to go against what your history shows. You need to go against, you know, the air of caution that we do have with the Warriors, and you need to go and just absolutely slap this second half down. It's just as simple as that. King says, Warriors getting robbed and getting calls at the same time. I think that the referees have been up and down today. There's been a couple of weird ones, but there's also been some really good calls as well. Jay says, don't forget the 10% tariff. I need Halasima try for 3K. Yeah, we get 10% of that. Can't wait. Ricky says, am I still timed out? I think you would have only been timed out for 5 minutes, mate. Sebastian says, how's Boyd playing? Boyd was really, really good, but he just hasn't been able to really do too much in this last 10-15 minutes of that first half. But all right, the second half is underway, folks. The Tigers will receive the ball, and they'll bring it out to the 10. Hit that like button and subscribe, and don't forget, right after this, we will have the Brisbane Broncos take on the Redcliffe Dolphins in the Battle of Brisbane up there at Suncorp Stadium. Yoga says, sorry, if Boyd never missed in the past but does now, can you please follow suit? Boyd hardly misses. Yes, 84. But what are you talking about, dude? Did you listen to anything that we said before? I don't know if you were the same person who asked me this question before in regards to Tanner Boyd, but also, no, I'm going to support my boys. So, read the room is what I would suggest for you, man. Like, it's really about reading the room. We're all aware of Tanner Boyd missing kicks, right? Like, I'm going to be serious for a second here. We're all aware of it, but no, like, I will support him and I will back him in, and I will continue with the Tanner Boyd doesn't miss because I will support him in those endeavours, man. So if you don't like it, that's on you, man. But no, I won't follow suit in regards to saying that Tanner misses because that's just not what we do here, man. But if you can read the room, you're very well aware of what's actually being said behind the curtain there. A big homie Dave says, how the Tigers win: 1, hold the ball, frustrate the Wires playing their strength, bash through the middle, use Appy's deception at ruck and look to push through offloads. With the Warriors now 4 tackle at the 40. Long way to go here for the Tigers. Long way to go, but at least it was a good finish to the first half. Tanner Boyd off to Mitchell Barnett. And Barnett gets his ball to the 35, gets the offload away, great offload. Metcalf then to Halasima. Halasima's going to run this ball to the 25 on fit tackle. Paul Smith says, Tanner's playing well, mate. Tanner's been pretty good. He's had a couple of moments that haven't been great, but he also has been pretty good. So it's a good kick there from Metcalf. The chase is nice, and the Tigers will get taken to the in-goal here. That was really good stuff there from the Warriors. So this is going to be a dropout coming up from the Tigers to the Warriors. It's crazy how many times now in the NRL teams go 10-0 or 16-0 up, and all of a sudden the other team chases you back quickly and momentum shifts. It's because the 6 agains. That's the 6 agains are the ones that have adjusted the game in that way. Brian Tanarao says, up the Wires, let's have a better second half. Yeah, well, good luck. We'll see. Sean says, Yoga, back to stretching, mate. No typing. So the Tigers with a dropout. Surely they go long here. I don't feel like it's necessary to go short, but they do go short. They take the risk. Let's see if it pays off for them. And that is going to be, I think it's just over the sideline. They're going to say Tigers ball here. Well, what Team Selestak's saying, he's not even touching this. They may challenge this. They are going to challenge it to the Warriors. Webby gave it to them in the locker. Well, giving it to the team is something that you need. It's a challenge. We're waiting for it to come on the screen. You have to pick your moments. You can't just give it to a team every single half time. It just doesn't serve the purpose. I don't know if he would have given it to him. He would have criticised him for that last 10 minutes, but I don't know if now would have been the time to just give it to them. Because you need to keep the respect of the players and to keep the morale and all this kind of stuff. You're still 3-0. I don't think that he's absolutely slapping his players for it. I really don't. But he would have been obviously heavily critical of... Oh, does that come off the shoulder of Dallin? This actually might just be an unsuccessful challenge. Or is it the head of Tavana? Oh, did that touch Tavana's fingers? This is actually really difficult to see. Oh, Tavana's going to touch that first, I reckon. That's Tavana's fingers. It bends back. I think this should be Warriors ball, but it's a hard call for the bunker here because it's not like a guarantee. This is a difficult call. They might just say inconclusive here. Does that come off Tavana's head, actually? Yeah, I think it's going to touch Tavana's fingers. Yeah. So this is going to be Warriors ball at 10. Very tough, very, very tough call to make there for the bunker. I respect the decision there. I respect how tough that was, especially to overturn it. But I do agree. I do agree with the call. Hold on. Big news out of Manly tonight. Oh, it's to do with Coach Anthony Seibold. Is it time, folks? Is it time? Oh, Anthony Seibold might be getting the old Wackaruno from Manly. Apparently, big news out of Manly tonight. That we'll find out, I think, on the Broncos-Dolphins game. They've just said, first tackle at the 5. Manly fans, celebrate. Celebrate good Good times. Come on. Jacob Laban gets his ball to the 8 on the second tackle. They roll it back here to Wade Egan. Egan at the back to Mitchell Barnett. Short ball to Tanner Stowers-Smith. And Stowers-Smith will be 3 metres away from the line. Third tackle. Seabold back to Brisbane's crazy. Short ball. Halasima crash play. He'll be 2 metres out. Fourth tackle. They roll it back into Wade Egan. Egan gets it to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd short ball into the line for Mitchell Barnett. Looking for an offload. Can't get it. Fifth tackle. Good defense here from the Tigers on this set. Keep joking about it, Serpent. We love it. Tanner Boyd kicks it through. Oh, Jacob Laban. I don't know. Might actually just be a dropout here. I don't know if Laban's actually able to put the ball. I think that the Tigers touched this and forced the ball, and Laban actually hasn't even touched this. So G is ruling a touch by the Tigers, but not forcing goals. So that would then look to see if Jacob Laban does get touched on it. It's actually a really good kick here from Tan. It's a really good kick. Now, does someone Afanu get a touch of this? He does. No one touches it. So that's going to be a 7-tackle set. No, not a 7-tackle set. That's going to be a drop out here from the Tigers. Jacob Laban doesn't touch it, and Fayunu saves a try there by swiping at it and knocking it dead. You would rather see him force the ball than swipe at it there, but I also, at the end of the day, it's going to be a dropout. So you don't really care how it happens as long as it happens. But if he doesn't get a touch to that, that would have been a try for Laban. But either way, didn't happen. So dropout coming up here from the Tigers to the Warriors. Just got to keep on pumping it, he was. Now, no pressure makes him a better player. Who, as elite as he has been, do you think people putting too much pressure on Tanner when bringing him up for Origin? I don't think he should be in an Origin conversation right now, but he could be in like an extended conversation. But somewhat Afayuni will come with a short drop out there. Warriors, you've been asleep since the 30th minute. You've got to wake up. You've just simply got to wake up. You have been asleep since the 30th minute of this game. Second tackle here for the Tigers, and they're going to be at the 35 on Sunatarova. Like Halasima scoring a short run off Metcalf. Well, they need the ball for that one. Third tackle at 35. Well, Barnett does come back to the ruck there. They're lucky they didn't get 6 again against them just now. And if you had to drop the ball, there might have been a penalty, but it's going to be offloaded there from the Tigers, and Dewey then will be taken down at the 35 on fourth tackle. Off to Alex Twell, Jock Madden, somewhat of Fayenu, and Fayenu will be at the 40 on fifth tackle. Tyler says Tigers have any chance of pulling this off? Well, they're up by 6, mate. So, of course they have a chance of pulling this off. They're the ones leading right now. The Warriors will break this ball at the 20 and bring it out to the 30. Again, I still have a bit of faith that the Warriors win this game, but the Tigers are doing well, and the Warriors aren't right this very second. They've got to figure out how to change this, and their attack's not flowing today. And I do caution. I hope it's not the reason that the elephant is in the room. I really hope. I hope it's not the elephant in the room. So Tanner Stowers-Smith is going to bring this ball here to the 45 on fourth tackle. Darian says the Warriors nearly lost possession on both dropouts. Correct. Tanner Boyd short into the line to Laban, and he'll be at the 35 on fifth tackle. Fifth tackle, Wade Egan. Then off to Metcalf. You need a bit of magic here, Warriors. It's still a long way to go in this game, but we need to see a little bit of magic. Dream Buller will get it, and he'll be taken down at the 5 through Adam Pompey and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Just don't make a mistake here, Tigers. You just got to keep on completing your sets. Sunatarova taking it down to the 9 on second tackle, sorry. As Seabold said, we will all die. What did Seabold say? We will all die? I'm missing a meme here. He's obviously said something stupid. Doesn't surprise me. Kotawi Sau off to Falatina Tavana, and Tavana's going to be at the 20. Well, at the very least, even if you were to lose this game, Tigers, you should be very happy with the positivity that you're seeing from the club and the intensity that they're bringing into this game, regardless if you win or lose this. I think this is well and truly different to what you would have seen from this Tigers team over the last 15 years. Tane Tuapiki, he's going to take it out now to the 40, close to a high tackle there, very lucky. First tackle, and they'll get it across here to Adam Pompey. Pompey will be at the 45 on second tackle. Sebastian says, amazing commentary, lad. Appreciate you, man. We're live right after the Broncos-Dolphins. Halasima gets his ball to the 40 on third tackle. Need to see some heavy runs out of him right now. Kazid says, Halasima he said in terms of him potentially getting sacked last year, he said, who cares in the end, we will all die eventually. Yeah, that's what you want to hear from your coach, mate. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Who cares, we will all die eventually. Yeah, brilliant stuff. 6 again for the Warriors at the 30. Oh, mate, if he was my coach, that would have been a light up, bro. I would have lit that shit up. That is an awful thing to hear your coach say. So first tackle at the 20. Who cares, we all die eventually. That is so dog shit. Is it true? Yes. Is it dog shit? Absolutely. Second tackle here. Yeah, coach of Manly, young one. Anthony Seibold said that. Tanner Boyd out the back to Metcalf. Metcalf! Whoa, that's a good run from him, though, but good defense from the Tigers at the 4. Third tackle. Close with 6 again. Wade Egenshaw. Tanner Boyd short into the line. That was a bit of a broken play. They should have done a short ball that they would have had a try, but instead it slowly got out to Tanner. Just didn't work out. They kick this ball through, and Torova knocks it, drops it, ball everywhere. And I think it's a knock on Tigers. Yeah, knock on Tigers. The Warriors will get another attack and an opportunity here 10 metres away. All that smoke, boy? No, it's not raining today. Not raining today, luckily for the Warriors. It has rained a lot for them this season in games, except for the Knights game was the only game they haven't played in the rain. But that will be a knock on here from the Tigers, and the Warriors are going to get another attack opportunity 10 metres out. Young says, turned to a grumpy old man, that bloke. Yeah, well, if he's not gone, he took the Broncos to their first ever spoon, and currently he's on target for the Manly to get their first ever spoon, but there's a long way to go in the season, and apparently there is potential news that he might be getting sacked today. Anthony Seibold has been sacked, is what they've just said. Anthony Seibold at Manly has been sacked. That is big for Manly, and it is understanding for Manly. 4 rounds into the season, we have just... Halasima has to come off for a HIA here. Halasima will be out for the next 15 minutes with a HIA. Huge there for Manly. I see your Seibold comment and raise his Shane Flanagan's comment in his press conference after last week's loss that this team cannot win the premiership. I would say that is horrific. I would still say that Seibold's comment is worse. He's been asked about being sacked, and he said the words "who cares" as his next 2 words. So, saying that the Dragons can't win the premiership as the coach, Shane Flanagan, I get what you're talking about. But it's not as bad as the coach saying "who cares" as his next 2 words after being asked about being sacked. So, Tane Tuapiki is going to be at the 12. But Leka Halasima is off for the next 15. 32 minutes left. This is an intense game right now. It is. Jackson Ford brings us... Oh, he's lost the ball. It's not looking pretty right now, man. A knock on first tackle. Oh, dude. What is this right now? What's happening? This is not what we've seen these first 3 weeks. First tackle for the Tigers and Kotoi Sau taken down at the 30. He was square. That's fine from Wade Egan. And that's why he was like, what do you want me to do yesterday in the press? He genuinely seemed defeated. Well, what we want you to do, mate, is to pick a better team. So third tackle now, motivate your team a bit better. That's what we want you to do as a coach. And Jock Madden on third tackle, interesting on third tackle, but it actually ends up being a really great kick. Take to a pick here. He's going to be taken back in goal here. Yep, he will. That was actually a really smart kick there from Jock Madden. He is having a good game. While we criticise him pre-game, he's having a good game here, Jock Madden. 30 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. That was an outstanding set from the Tigers. Desi Hasler back to Manly coach is an insane comment. Shouldn't have ever left. Pick the cat, well done. That was brilliant, especially on third tackle. It's a ballsy decision to go on third tackle, but it was a good decision in the end. 30 minutes left, and the Warriors in the back foot. They go for the short dropout. Knock on here from the Tigers, I'm pretty certain. And it's a penalty to the Tigers. No, penalty to the Warriors. Offside. Massive. I heard the whistle, so I assumed that the receiving team was going to get a penalty for like an offside. But it is a penalty to the Warriors for offside from the Tigers. Michael says they throw Metcalf in the lineup too early. Right now, I'm not disagreeing with you. Right this very second, but also pre-game, it looked like a massive inclusion. But that is the elephant in the room. First tackle here for the Warriors, and they're at the 45. Wade Egan to Tanner Stowers Smith, and that's a big run there. You need that from your forwards. You need those massive runs right now. Wade Egan, he'll get it off to Aaron Clark, and that's another massive run here from Aaron Clark. He'll be at the 25 on third tackle. This is a good set here from the Wires. Can they finish it off? Tanner Boyd underneath to Tanner Stowers Smith. Here with the 15, fourth tackle. Wade Egan out to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd short into the line for Mitchell Barnett, and he's going to be 5 metres away. They don't have Halasima here to potentially get a breakaway, get a try. So they have to kick to the other side of the field. It's going to be Dallin. Got a try time, it was. Oh, has he lost the ball? Oh, maybe not. Maybe this is a knock on. Wateni Zalesniak is not celebrating here. Adam G is going up as a no try, but that is a big catch out of the air. But I don't know if he's actually able to. I don't know if he puts the ball down here. So 29 minutes to go here of the game. Dallin Wateni Zalesniak. Nobody. Oh well, this is actually probably going to be a penalty. No, Makasini keeps his hands away from it. That's fine. That's fine. And then he's lost the ball, yeah. He has just lost the ball, so this is going to be Tigers ball to 20. Makasini's done really well there to wait for Wateni Zalesniak to get it, and then he does get him on the ground. He doesn't even compete for the ball there, Makasini. Durad says, yeah, I'm not even biting, big homie. Durad says, so it was the Sydney Morning Herald who reported the Seabold sacking, apparently. Well, I don't know. They talked about it in the commentary just before. So, the Tigers, they'll bring it out to the 30 here on 0 tackle. Kaipi Sport's been good for Tigers so far this season. Yeah, didn't really do too much last week in the game, but against the Rabbitohs. But outside of that, his game against the Cowboys was good, and today he's been good too. Third tackle now for the Tigers, the 48. If they don't score on this set, they are dumb. Well, they didn't score on that set, but there's still a long way to go here, man. It's still only a 6-point game. It's a close one. And these are actually games that you want to see the Warriors find a way. You've seen that they can blow teams apart, but when you win a premiership, with teams who are premiership credentialed teams, they win the games that they weren't their best in. And the Warriors have not been their best in this game. The premiership winning teams, they win games that they weren't the greatest in. And the Warriors taken to a pick. He nearly gets away. He'll be at the 15 on first tackle. And, no, they'll bring it back. They'll bring it back. Where's Luai? Luai is injured, mate. He's out this week. So Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on second tackle to the 20. Don't forget, we'll be right on after this. Broncos versus the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. Wateni Zalesniak brings it to the 30. The nearly a 6 again there. And Tanner Boyd gets it to Pompey. Pompey at the 40. Just make sure you have a man at... I'm surprised they're not getting 6 agains here, otherwise. The fans are really into the referee right now. So fifth tackle for... Well, they've held him down for way long there. I can understand why Warriors fans are complaining about how long the Tigers are holding him down in the tackle just then. Big bomb there from Tan, but Dream Baller does grab it at the 15. And he is going to then pass it off really pointlessly for mine. And the Tigers will be taken back to the 10. Good work there from the Waz. Yeah, well said, man. Great teams win games they're not playing the best in. Wise words there. Well, it's the truth. Look at all the games the Panthers over the years. They've been poor in plenty of games, and they still find a way to get the result. Same thing with the Storm. I saw it last week, obviously. Just the teams who go on and win comps. The Broncos last year, they weren't necessarily amazing. Well, they weren't good in first halves for starters, but they weren't amazing in a lot of those games in the back end. Look at the Dolphins game where they were down 13 plus with 30 minutes to go, and they ended up winning 13 plus. You know, that's just how the big teams do it. So fifth tackle now for the Tigers at the 40. Not everything is going to go your way every single week in a 27-round season plus finals. It's just not going to happen. So you need to find a way around the adversity to prove that you are one of the big dogs right now, Warriors. So Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, he's going to bring this ball out here to the 30, stepping around, and then he runs sideways and just gets taken down to 30. I don't know what that was. Surely the Warriors go on the next couple of sets. Well, there's no surely right now. You know, they haven't really earned a try just yet. They've got to earn this try. And Wade Egan knocks the ball on. Lucky penalty. Very, very lucky. Wade Egan knocked the ball on, but they will get done for a penalty of the Tigers, and Samuel Fainu is fuming. And descent, yeah, 10 metres. Yeah, it's definitely a descent penalty. Samuel Fainu was just screamed in the ear of Adam G, disagreeing with the call. A descent penalty for Fainu is absolutely worthwhile in that. Draz says, as much as we criticise good teams for winning by a few points versus lower sides, sometimes you need to show the ability to win when you don't play well in a regular season, and Storm have been an example. Panthers have been a prime example. Look at the Titans game last year. They were up 24-0 at half-time, and the Titans led 26-24 with a couple minutes to go. Still found a way to win, even though it was controversial. So the Warriors now 20 metres away from the line. It's Jackson. Well, you've got a 6. Yeah, it's a penalty. I'd nearly start to consider bin. He's not going to bin him now, but this slow play, the ball speed, is directly because the Tigers are holding them down for a long period. So 25 minutes left here. I would just tap this. I wouldn't even kick this over the sideline. Adam G is telling him to wait here. That's okay. No, that's fine. But he did kind of warn him. So if they give away another penalty here, be careful of a sin bin, Tigers. First tackle at the 15. Wade Egan out to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd to Metcalf. Metcalf to Marata Niokore. And he's 8 metres away from the line. Well, he's complaining about something here. He's getting up really slowly. Second tackle. Let's see if you can score now. Tanner Boyd, short ball onto the line. Mitchell Barnett, third tackle. He loves that short ball there, Tan. But good defense from the Tigers. Wade Egan, he'll get it to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd across to Jackson Ford. And another knock-on from Jackson Ford, man. Another knock-on from Jackson Ford. I know that's a short pass into the line there, but that's another mistake from Jackson Ford. And the Tigers will be let off the hook again. I will half blame Tanner Boyd there as well, though, because he passes that directly into the line. But this also isn't the first knock-on from Jackson Ford today. Home of the NRL, and that's good defense from the Tigers. No, that is on Jackson Ford. That's not on Tanner Boyd. That is on Jackson Ford. The ball goes straight to him, and he had time to catch that and make his run, but he does knock it on. Home of the NRL says Warriors can have an active scoring tries early in the game and not have that flair for the rest of the game. Their second halves have been the better halves so far this season. Not that this game is showing it currently, but there's a long way to go. Still 24 minutes left. The Tigers are at the 13. They just can't seem to find an extra man tonight. They just can't seem to... It's just not flowing for them as much as it has in previous weeks. And the Tigers are not a better team than, say, the Roosters or the Raiders overall, you would think, based off of last year. But... Yet the Warriors found a lot better against those teams than they did against this Tigers team today. 27 from 33 completions for the Warriors. He's lost the ball. That's a knock on. Oh, they're going to say pass went backwards? Is that what they've called? Oh, the Tigers are away here. I'd be careful about scoring because this could come back otherwise. Dream Bullets at the 35. And they're going to get it off to Sinafa'inu. It's Adam Dewey, the third tackle on 25. 20 metres out. Dewey taken down to the 15. Fourth tackle. That was a controversial call just then, not to say that was a mistake from the Tigers. But anyway, they're at the 20. Off to Koroisau. And quickly, Samuela Fa'inu off to Makasini. Makasini taken down 4 metres away from the line. 4 metres out. Fifth tackle. He's lost the ball. He's lost the ball. Such great work from the Tigers, and they lose the ball. I want to go back and have a look at that mistake that they didn't call, though. So he wanted to push the offload, but they're not showing that earlier one. Skeleton says, would be interesting if Seabutt was let go this early. Willie Peters was just announced as likely the PNG coach. Who do you hire this early? That's better. They'll probably go with they'll have Kieran Foran probably be the caretaker immediately, really. Which is funny because he is the assistant coach there. I'm assuming that probably should have been a penalty there to the Tigers, but they didn't call it. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's difficult because you usually just give your assistant coach the rest of the year. There's no one really available right this very second. And I don't think they're going to make any immediate decision. So I would assume that Kieran Foran is their coach for a little bit. So third tackle now at the 22. Darian says, man, I guess when it rains, it pours for the Wars. There's a long way to go. It's only 6 points. Third tackle here at the 30. The Warriors' attack from last year is what the concern is as we speak. Fifth tackle here for the Warriors at the 40. No, sorry, that was fourth tackle. This is fifth tackle at the 50. Mick Ennis will be Manly's next coach. That's not a bad shout. I'm not even a Tigers fan, but honestly love seeing the perennial underdog get up despite everyone going against them. Yeah, because before the game, there was nothing to suggest that the Tigers should win this game. But the Warriors are doing what the Warriors have done for many years now, and the games that they should be winning very cleanly and decisively is the one that they're struggling in. The ones that people doubted them in are the ones that they won. So go out to the right. Who got a $250 bonus bet? Who do you think scores in the Broncos game? 10% if it wins. Well, I would go Tony, but with that being said, it's not an easy. By the way, Hallerstein is not coming back for another 5 minutes as well. That wouldn't be paying too much there, to be fair. You probably, with a bonus bet, you kind of like to go on a bit more risky. Dewey on the inside. He's away here. He's got numbers. He's got Jareem Buller on his inside. He gives it off to him, and the Tigers will score. Oh, Warriors, this is same old nightmare. This is same old nightmare for the Warriors right now. They're down 20 points to 10 with a kick to come to the Tigers. This is same old nightmare. Games that you should be winning cleanly and convincingly is the game that you are about to be down 22 to 10 right now. Seventh is game set match. This is not game set match, bro. There's 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes left here, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. Stags loves a try against the Finns. That's what I'm saying. I'd probably go Stags. Jareem Buller with a try time. Adam Dewey's been incredible today. Adam Dewey has been really good, and he knew as soon as he broke through that he was going to have numbers, and he had the 2-on-1, and the Tigers are going to score. And Jareem Buller over the line. Well, you're going to have to really pull a rabbit out of the hat right now, Warriors. There's still time, but this has been poor. What do you mean Tanner falls over? Tanner wasn't the one. Tanner made the tackle on the inside. That wasn't on Tanner. Tanner's on the inside there and made the tackle. He's not the one who missed the tackle. 10 points, and some people are already calling game. Well, it's maybe 12 points, but yeah, it's not game set match at all at the moment. Choke is our middle name. Well, you were up 10-0 here, Warriors. If you end up losing this game, you lost the game when you did not have a player at marker. Sorry, at the play the ball. You did not have a dummy half. That is literally where you've lost this game at the moment, because the whole momentum of this game changes if you literally just play it. That's it. The 5-8 for the Tigers is Jock Madden. All right, so Jock Madden. It's 21 years since the Tigers have won in New Zealand. Apparently, they just said in the commentary. And Jock Madden will make the kick. So 19 minutes left here of the game. 19 minutes left. Comment who you think wins from here. Tigers, a 12-point buffer. Warriors, you need not a miracle, but you need something pretty quickly. Jock Madden, as a Bronx fan, I was heartbroken we let him go, but love seeing him too good. I've never really rated him. He's had a good game today, though. He's had a real good game today. I didn't rate him with the Broncos either. But I think that he has had a good game here today. Oh, 21 years since the Tigers won at night? Is that what Aaron, really? No. What? No, that has to be about smart. There's no way they haven't won a game at night. Didn't they win 66 points to 18 over the Cowboys at night in Leichhardt? I know you've probably taken the piss there, but my brain for a second half believed it. But no, that doesn't make any sense. Especially considering they made the finals in 2011. Tom Weaver with a try and 6 and 7 conversions last night for Castleford and RTS. Jordan Wakefield was good to see. Good stuff. So third tackle of the Tigers. Hallerstein is about to come back on the field here. But he haven't won a night game in 21 years. This is insane. Tigers fourth tackle at 35. You need something right now. And 40-20 attempt from Kotter. That's a good kick. But the Warriors will get back for it. Roger Tuvasacek at the 10. And he's going to take it to the 15, to the 20. You need something here, Warriors. You need some really big hit-ups. I didn't say Tanner missed the tackle. Tanner slipped over with no one on him and Dewey stepped through. Incorrect. There was a player on him. But look at it again. Tanner is making a tackle when you're saying he slips over. So second tackle now for the Warriors. They're at the 30, and they'll give it off here to Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. And Watene-Zelezniak brings it to the 40. That's a good run. And decent running from Sam Healy. It'll be fourth tackle at the halfway point. They would really love a 6 again or something right now. Charles clocks out to Aaron Clark, then off to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd runs it himself to the 38 on the Tiger side of the field. 7.5 minutes left. Storm home ground streak was ended, and if Tigers win here, so will the Warriors streak this year is really interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Tigers get them. Oh, Jareem Buller, very, very lucky to grab that. He bubbles it, but he comes up with it at 5, and Jackson Ford did put some decent pressure on it. So Jock Madden, you know who's been a big reason the Tigers are going to win today as well? Fataltino Tavana on debut. Honestly, I would just consider... Oh, no! That is the worst thing that could have happened, Tigers. Knock on from West at the 20. And a bit of a bit, though! Someone throw an elbow! Hit him with a headbutt! Give him an uppercut, you cats! And it's a knock on from the Tigers. And the Warriors will get the ball 20 metres out. Here's your chance to pounce. Shades, it's such a Waz thing. Beat Roosters, Raiders, Knights, 36 plus points, but lose to a half-spine Tigers. Correct. Correct, but Mukassini will lose that ball in a good tackle there from Fisher Harris. And it will be Warriors ball 20 out, and then Mitchell Barnett and Luke Laualii. Laualii, are you serious having a crack with Barnett there? Luke Laualii aiming up and shaping up with... No, hold on. What's happening here? No, they're not saying this is a bad tackle from Fisher Harris. Contact's fine. Yeah, contact's fine. Correct. I was going to say that would have been mind-blowing if they called that a penalty. It's actually a penalty to the Warriors, though. Terrell May thought that they were getting a penalty, but it is going to go to the Warriors. It doesn't really matter, though, because they've got to go for the try regardless. Counts this is bullshit. What's bullshit? Oh, the performance in the Waz, is that what you're saying? All right, Warriors, they're 15 metres away. James Fisher-Harris at the 10 on first tackle. I haven't picked the Waz in tipping all year, picked them this week. You went against the Warriors against the Knights with no Fletcher Sharp, Kalen Ponga, and no Dylan Brown? Second tackle here for the Warriors at the 10. Second tackle, well, that should be a 6 again. Pretty clearly. Yeah, they do concede. No, they didn't. Oh, Adam G's not been great giving the Warriors 6 again today. He hasn't. Fisher Harris, he'll go himself here from dummy half. Fourth tackle at the 4, but the Tigers' defense has been really solid today. Sam Healy at the back to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd gets it then. Charnel Clockstad. Chance runs it, kicks his ball. Coming back, and we're back on. All right. Thank you for letting me know. I mean, game is far from over, but I'd have picked the Tigers 13 plus if Luai wasn't injured. No, you wouldn't have. You would not have picked the Tigers 13 plus if Luai wasn't injured. In this game, though, we could have seen the Tigers actually potentially win 13 plus if Luai wasn't injured, but you wouldn't have picked it pre-game. No way. So the Warriors now, they're 5 minutes out, unless you are a devout Tigers fan, because there was no stat that was advantageous to that selection. So the Warriors are 10 metres away, and Jackson Ford, he'll be 4 metres out here from the line. Second tackle. 4 metres out. They roll it back into Sam Healy. Healy at the back to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd, quick chance, and good defence, Tigers. Third tackle at the 8. Show us some attack here. Luke Metcalf and Tanner Boyd have scored 36 points, 42 points, and 40 points. Tanner Boyd, quick passing. Oh, Metcalf. Oh, no. Oh, no, Metcalf. He's knocked the ball on. There's an elephant in the room right now, guys. There is an elephant in the room. It's not been a great return for Luke Metcalf, unfortunately, today. First tackle for the Tigers at the 20. If Luai wasn't injured, I'd have taken the Tigers. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So the third tackle now for the Tigers. This is all fantastic in hindsight, guys. Like, this is all fantastic that everyone and their dog was going to tip the Tigers. But the Tigers were 1-1 coming into this game, and all the stats were in favour of the Warriors, and the Warriors were 3-0, and the Warriors are at home. I don't believe you when you're saying you would have tipped the Tigers 13 plus, and you would have tipped the Tigers overall. I just don't believe it, especially after a loss to the Rabbitohs last week, and the Warriors are 3-0. I don't think that it's viable. It's amazing upset here, and it's amazing to see that the Tigers are probably going to get the upset right now, but there's still 14 minutes to go. But I don't believe everyone now saying I tipped the Tigers, or I would have tipped the Tigers. I just don't believe it, because I don't know what you're basing any of that off. So the Warriors are at the 25 on first tackle, and they'll bring this ball out now to the 35 on second tackle, unless you're a Warriors hater. If you're a Warriors hater, then sure. If you're a Tigers lover, then sure. But other than that, I don't know what you're basing it off. So third tackle here at the 40. And it'll be 4. That's 6 again. That's 6 again. Yep. Oh, he didn't give again. Another 6 again. Adam G's been awful for the 6 agains today for the Waz, but he's given the Tigers plenty. I will say that. So fit tackle. I don't think that Adam G has been massively favourable to you, but you also haven't been good enough to win this game. The Tigers have been the better team. Good chase there from Pompey, but good take there from Valentina Tavana under pressure on debut. I'm not feeding into your delusion that it's always the referee's fault, but I will just say that the 6 agains have not been kind to the Warriors today. So Tigers will bring this ball to the 20. Darian says, I did not think Tigers would win at all, but good for them. Exactly right. That's the great comment. I also didn't think the Waz would beat Canberra, though, so what do I know? I agree. I agree with both of those sides. At the end of the day, tipping is always just educated guesses, right? You always have to understand that ultimately no one knows, but we have an educated guess at what we think is going to happen, and then sometimes it doesn't happen. But I just don't believe people who said that they would tip the Tigers. Oh, Madden with a bad kick under pressure, and that's going to be Warriors ball to 35. Okay, Warriors, you got to do something, man. You got to do something right now. Dasmate says, stay to the second best Origin team, Brighton. Well, I hope you're referring to Queensland being the best, because we're the champions, baby. Jim James, of course the Tigers will win. I tip the Waz, so of course the Tigers are going to win. That's pretty much the way that it goes in the sport, man. It's pretty much the way that NRL definitely goes. So the Warriors, 30 metres away. Please just don't make another knock on. Just don't make another knock on. Don't forget, we'll be live right after this for Broncos versus Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. But right now, the Warriors, they need a bit of a miracle. Second tackle at 24. And if you are late to the news, Anthony Seibold has been sacked as the coach of the Manly Seagulls. So give it to Tanner Boyd at the 20. He gets it out to Luke Metcalf. Metcalf at the 15 to Adam Pompey. Pompey here, 14 metres away from the line. Do you ever get out a jail free card right now, Warriors? Because you need to use it now. Metcalf off to Mitchell Barnett. And Barnett is 10 metres away. 4 tackle. Rolls it back to Healy. Sam Healy off to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd out the back again. Chance! With the try for the Warriors. And it's 22-14 with a kick to come. The game is on, folks. The game is on. Chance Nickel Klokstad goes over, and it's about to be 20. Well, we don't know if it's 22-16. This is a very important kick here for Tanner Boyd doesn't miss. Very important kick. 10 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. Tanner Boyd to Chance Nickel Klokstad, and Chance goes over. It is 22-14. Kick to come. Oh my gosh, people continuously commenting in the chat, did I hear that Anthony Seibold got sacked? One, I literally just mentioned it, and two, of course we've heard that Anthony Seibold's been sacked. Maybe about 40 times in this chat so far. Yes, lads, for anyone who doesn't know, I have heard that Anthony Seibold's been sacked. We've spoken about Anthony Seibold being sacked. We've also spoken about potential replacements for Anthony Seibold. We are aware of Anthony Seibold getting sacked. Lads, so 22-14 Tigers, 10 minutes left here. Tanner Boyd doesn't miss. No, he does not, Scott. This is a very, very important kick for him to get. This is a very important kick for him to get, too. I don't even know if I can watch it. Tanner Boyd is going to miss a kick. Oh no, oh no, no. I can't even say it for that. I got the feeling too, I did get the feeling, so I was like, can't even watch this. He's missed the kick, so it's an 8-point game. Warriors, over the years, when it goes back to Chanel Harris Tavita as the conversion taker, over the years, your conversion kicking has also lost you games. So now you need to score twice. Why are people acting like Anthony Seibold being sacked as like Craig Bellamy getting the pun? No, I think they're just trying to tell us. I think they're just trying to do it. But, of course, we've heard it a lot now. All right, so 10 minutes left here. Thumbs up, subscribe. Warriors with the ball to 5. They need to score 8 points now. 8 points. Jacob says, go the Tigers. Des Hasler back to Manly. And now they'll give it off to Fisher Harris, who'll get this ball to the 20. Daz on fire tonight. He is on fire. Well, I haven't heard that news. Who got sacked? You got sacked, Jazz. You got sacked. So it's Murata Niokore to the 30. Dazmate will get the sack soon. That's what'll happen. He's a Dogs fan, so it's fair enough. And Aaron Clark has lost the ball, and the Tigers get the ball at the 40. 9 minutes to go of the game. Knock on. Seibold at the centre link line on Monday. Doesn't matter. We're all going to die anyways. Just such a stupid comment for a coach to make. All right, first tackle here for the Tigers at the 33. Suna Tadorova is just trying to waste time. Also, Tadorova, what are you doing, shit? Why is everyone from this Tigers team who is about 5'2" talking shit to Mitchell Barnett? Suna Tadorova is trying to fight Mitchell Barnett. Suna Tadorova would get smacked. And who was the other one that was having a crack at Mitchell Barnett before? I can't remember, but like the smaller dudes on this Tigers team are the ones that are trying to fight Mitchell Barnett. It's incredible scenes. Like, it's incredible. Definitely David versus Goliath kind of material happening here. 4 tackle for the Tigers, 13 metres away. If they score a convert try here, the game's over. Got to be Stout to Jock Madden. Jock Madden, short ball to the line. Fainu, he's at 10. 10 metres out. They give it off here to Jock Madden. Madden puts a pretty good kick up in a good area, but the Warriors get it through Pompey, and Pompey brings it to the 10. He hasn't been tackled yet. Now he has been. First tackle. Tadorova looks a bit like a chihuahua. Jacob, we're going to be timing you out here, bro, because there was not a try for the Tigers. Please don't try and spoil for the chat. Second tackle now for the Warriors, and Metcalf is grabbing at his eye. Taking my 4-year-old to the Dogs game tomorrow. Got to give him the proper experience and punch a Knights fan in the face. Yeah, makes sense, Mitch. That definitely does align with Bulldogs fans. So 4th tackle now. And Tanner Stowers-Smith, he's been good with some good runs. He's been really strong with some good runs today. Tanner Boyd at the 45, and he'll get taken down at the 50 on 5th tackle. You need some risks now. Missing that conversion is just so crucial in this game. And they'll kick that ball up, and the Tigers will let it bounce. Very lucky there for Buller that it bounced up perfectly for him, and he'll get this ball to the 22. Knights fan just slapped you. Knights fan just slapped me. Second tackle for the Tigers, and they'll be the 25. Good hit there from Maratha Niokore. Oh, that missed conversion is so crucial, man. Suna Tadorova taken down at the 38 on 3rd tackle. A little touch from Buller. Yeah, it's dicey him doing that, but it worked out luckily enough for him. 4th tackle, Kotowai Sow off to Alex Seyfarth. Seyfarth to Jock Madden. Jock Madden at the back to Dewey. Oh, bad defense. Watani Zelezniak. You deserve to lose, Watani. That was really bad. You've lost the game. Watani Zelezniak, that was some of the worst defense I nearly have ever seen. I defend Dallin Watani Zelezniak a lot, but that defensive attempt here from Dallin Watani Zelezniak might be the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And I defend him a lot as a winger, but that was so bad. You have quite literally just given it. Finish it off, because they'll get this kick. Look at Dallin. Look at Dallin. Look at Dallin. Also look at Lega Halasima. Halasima as well. But Dallin has made an incredible decision there, and that is to touch nobody. Dallin has not made contact with a single Tigers player, but he has completely come off his line. Again, Lega hasn't helped this out, but whilst I will defend the winger a lot of the time, that is on both of them. So it's 26-14 with the kick to come. If they get this kick, it's game over. Hubbard says, oh, well, East Warriors was on top for a week. Well, again, if the Titans lose to the Dragons on Sunday, mate, then that means the Titans go into first place on this table. So it's probably good that they lose in that sense. Dunning with Tennis Zelezniak haters will be here soon. Look, I can't even defend him off for this one. I can't even defend him on that. That is so poor defense there from both Halasima and Watani Zelezniak. But Dallin doesn't even make a touch on anybody. Neither does Lega, but neither of them make a touch on anybody. That was such poor defense. And the Broncos and Tigers cut relationship player scores. He'll be a Bronco in 27. Vonnie says, so Waz flogged the Knights but lose to the Tigers. Well, yeah, that's not mind-blowing. I would have said that they flogged the Raiders and the Roosters but lose to the Knights. Lose to the Tigers. That would make a lot more sense. But yeah, happy for a Tigers win, hungry before dinner, because nobody thought the Tigers were going to win this game before the game started. It just didn't look likely. No Jerome Luai. They were okay against the Rabbitohs last week, but the Rabbitohs defensively were just so strong. And there it is. That is a conversion, and that should be the game. 28-14 to the Tigers with 5 minutes to go of the game. Warriors' errors have been what's really cost them today as well. But this Warriors team, this has been very much old demons resurfacing. The Warriors play the Sharks next week in Cronulla. Darren says, that would be a sight seeing the Titans in first, even if it's the one round. Well, every season the Titans are in first on this table, mate. Hobart says, and West Tigers had more injured players too playing the game away. Yes. And short kickoff is going to go 5 metres. I want to ask Warriors fans, thoughts on Metcalf? And the way they stopped the Cowboys, they look dangerous. Oh, the Cowboys don't look good at all, though. They're a bottom 4 team this year, man. They're a bottom 4 team this year. Glory, South Sydney says, Rabbits were horrible last week, but still found a way to win. I wouldn't say the Rabbits were horrible. They weren't good in attack, but defensively, they were incredible. Jack Whiten last week defensively was amazing. But the Tigers now will get this ball to the 42. You got to remember, the Warriors were down a man in this game and didn't concede for the first 30 minutes with that man down in 10 minutes of those, but have conceded all 28 of their points when it's been 13 on 13. So it says random, but like the wall design behind you, Blaze. Yeah, I'm in Bangkok right now, mate. I've got a nice little view here of Bangkok, and that's my that's the background here of the Airbnb. It's not too bad. So third tackle here for the Tigers, and they're at the 30. The Warriors have gone from scoring 42 points to 40 points. No, 42 points to 40 points to 36 points to 14. Should have put Metcalf on the bench. Sar says, I don't disagree with you right now. But then again, that's also good in hindsight because, of course, you know, the Warriors, when they've got him as an option, they're going to, if he's fit and healthy, they're going to try and put him in. But he has been really poor today, Luke Metcalf. John says, one loss doesn't define who the Wars are. Correct, John. But to also debate you on this is a very Warriors loss across history. Because the Warriors will win games and be really good against teams that they shouldn't be competing with or people don't believe they're going to win, right? But then when they win those games and look really good, they will then take on a team like this Tigers team here today, where no one gives the Tigers a chance. The Warriors should win. They're at home. They're 3-0. They're looking at good. So they're top of the table. And then they go and lose 13 plus. So one loss doesn't define your season. There's a long season to go. But also, the demons of old have resurfaced here today. And we spoke about this before the stream. I was saying that I think the Warriors should win this 13 plus. But you always err on the side of caution because they usually lose these games. And they have. So it's not just criticising this individual game. It is criticising a recurring theme across many years. Jay says, no need to keep repeating it. What happened? Cows are shit. Those bums can't defend. Yeah, I agree. Which shows you a lot about my team. Callum is so angry it makes no sense. I would agree with you. Ibrahim says it looked like it was going to be ugly in the first 20 minutes, but they've stuck in the game and won. Yeah, the first 10, 20 minutes was all Warriors. Even the first 30 minutes. Maybe the 20 to 30 minute mark, it was definitely a lot more. Warriors weren't doing too much, but the first 20 minutes was dominant for the Warriors. It was dominant. In 9 minutes' time, we'll be live for that Broncos versus Dolphins game. We won't be able to do a preview or anything for it, but I'm gonna throw a bit. That's a knock on Warriors. I'm gonna throw a bit of a spicy and say the Dolphins get an upset. Haven't seen Well, I bought a new one, Sen. I bought a new one. Ty Hebel Hale. It's blue now, mate. It's blue. Got a new one. Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. Why is it losing bad? Yes, they are, gang. But it is only one game. Darian says, new to the channel, but who was your early prediction for making the grand final? Too early to tell. Way too early to tell. But based off of the early rounds, Panthers for sure. And this takes a big hit to my thought on the Warriors. It takes a big hit. But it's still only round 4. And they're still 3-0. It's just an immediate emotion right now with the Warriors. But Panthers are my only real one that I'm super confident in right now. If the Bulldogs can fix their attack, I've got Panthers versus the Dogs. If they can sort their attack out, but their attack doesn't convince me. So I'll give you Panthers. I don't know the other one. I'd say right this very second, I'm going to say the Dogs at this very second, but their attack is so disappointing. Conway Sow! I think Conway Sow scored! Oh no, he's held up. Can this be the round of upsets? Well, Roosters were favourites last night. Dolphins are upset in the next game. Obviously, this is an upset. I hope not, because the Titans, I don't know how they are, but they're technically favourites against the Dragons on Sunday, which is ridiculous. Lacking the energy tonight was? Yes, correct, maintain. See you the next game. We'll be there. Darian says, appreciate the thoughts. Yeah, it's really difficult. Again, we're only 4 rounds in, man. We're not even fully 4 rounds in. We've still got 1 game tonight, 3 games tomorrow, 2 games on Sunday. So we're only 3.5 rounds in, man. But I'm pretty confident the Panthers will be there. Knock on from Luke Metcalf. Tigers will get out to Sunil Over, and the Tigers will score again. They're going to put 30 on you, and they are going to win by 20 points. They might win by 20. They've definitely won by 18 points here. The Tigers have punched the Warriors in the mouth today over here at Auckland. They have game over for the Wars. Game over was 10, 15 minutes ago, bro. This is a big win here for the Tigers. It is. It's a big win for the Tigers. It's a great win here for the Tigers, and they have a chance to make it a 20-point win. If you're a Tigers fan, you should be super happy with this. Super, super happy. This is a good momentum pusher for your team. Jock Madden was great. Valentino Tavana was great on debut. Adam Dewey was fantastic as per usual. And your defense won you this game, which is not something the Tigers usually say. Your defense doesn't usually go well. But also, to put a comparison to that, this Warriors team, their question mark is their attack. They put 42 points on the Roosters, they put 40 points on the Raiders, and they put 36 points on the Knights. And then they come in here today and they only get 14 points. But the noticeable change from the Warriors team in the first 3 rounds to the Warriors team today is their halves are different. Tanner was the 7, and Channel Harris-Avita was the 6 for the first 3 rounds, and now it's Tanner Boyd in the 7 and Luke Metcalf in the 6. And I'm not going to leap shit on Luke Metcalf. He's just coming back from injury, but it does correlate to last season when Luke Metcalf was in the halves. Their attack was 11th and 10th, whilst their defense was top 4. It is a correlation. That doesn't mean I think he's a bad player. I still think he's a great player, and he needs time to get into it. I'm not going to really heavily go in at him, but the correlation is there. So it is a worry. But the Tigers will miss the kick, so final score will end up being 32 points to 14 to the West Tigers in the end. Great result for them. Now, guys, we're going to have to jump off. We're going to be online. We'll be on live for the next game, Broncos-Dolphins, in literally 5 minutes' time. So this stream will send you directly over there. It will send you directly over there, so you don't even really need to do anything. But, guys, I appreciate you for tuning in. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Unlucky Warriors, you probably will just be, well, you're in second already now after that loss. The Panthers' points differential would have gone above, but obviously they have a game tomorrow against the Eels as well. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in 5 minutes' time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.